Did I do it?
Welcome back to The Watch, Rings of Power, Episode 3. We titled this live stream as Galadriel has become unbearable. I also tweeted out the relentless, unrelenting crap, or something to that effect.
Basically, I tried doing other words beforehand, but they were too big and unbearable for the thumbnail alone. But Galadriel in this one was... I can't use kind words to describe her, because she doesn't do anything good for anyone else.
Like, first 2 episodes, awful character, incredibly unlikable.
Yeah.
How could they possibly make her more unlikable?
They managed a way, Shad.
They found a way!
There was a will, and there was a way, and they achieved it.
Oh my goodness. Welcome, as I said, welcome back to The Watch, guys. We are live streaming this review. Let us know in the chat if everything's good, if you can hear us fine, or if there's any issues that come up. We need to dive into this. So, part of me was wondering, surely it couldn't be worse than episode 2. Surely not.
I'm sorry, you were wrong, Shad, because episode 3 somehow goes off the rails. Episode 2 was absurd. There was some very absurd, just logic-breaking thing, like wood sinking. Very dumb. But in this third one, there's even things with the half-foots.
I know!
I went, what? What? These innocent creatures are actually, like...
vile!
Yeah!
They are next level,
No.
man! Like,
you want to be humane, kind, good fellows? Like, oh, actually, no, we do some awful things to our own kind.
Like, oh my goodness, it is hard to describe how bad this episode is, and again, as we mentioned, Galadriel becomes even more unlikable. I didn't think it was possible. It is. There is another just plot destroying, retarded moment in this that like. There were multiple times where I had to pause and just laugh.
Yeah.
Like it was so bad. And if you think I don't have references, well, if you're aware of our reviews, like if you've seen our previous reviews, we come with references. I write down every single note. So how many pages of notes just trying to
I reckon you got more than me this time. I tried to do similar writing as well.
Yeah.
But I only got 4.
So first episode, 5, and I thought that's pretty excessive. Second episode, I got to 6. Well, wouldn't you imagine it?
Is it 8?
7.
Oh.
7 pages.
It's not 8 yet.
It took me like 3.5 to 4 hours to get through this episode, just trying to catch all the crap, and it's so relentless and dense. I know I missed a bunch. Oh my goodness. All right, and so this is like, 1 out of 10 to at most, but probably 1. When I say there was something that was really, really bad, it breaks the plot. We thought last episode broke the plot with a really big plot hole. This episode destroys it. Galadriel's quest, she is so dumb, so incredibly dumb to have missed this. And what it says about the plot, the writers who are doing this, they do not understand, like, cause and effect. Narrative. They don't understand language. My goodness, do they not understand language? There are so many lines where someone says something, and then the person follows up with a non sequitur and doesn't even acknowledge what was said.
Yeah.
I'm watching this like, they don't understand language. I'm not kidding. It was so painful. I'm sorry if I seem a little unhinged in this review, because this is my healing moment. This is cathartic for me. I need to let this out. I hope you guys can join, get on board with this, because I need to just rant about it, because it's that ridiculous. This is incredibly bad. I mean, I reviewed She-Hulk with my wife last night, and she came up with a great point. There's a redeeming feature in She-Hulk. It's short. At least it's short. This was a full hour of unrelenting crap. So yeah, that's the non-spoiler section. Anything you wanted to add, Nathan?
No, just if you think you liked this, or if you say you like this episode, you need to reconsider what you think is good in life. Your standards need to be raised.
That is harsh.
You do, because nothing happened. Everything that was said made no sense, and there were just parts in the story I was either just like, is this the main character we'd be rooting for? There was things I was like, is this a culture we're meant to like? There was nothing in here that I was like excited about, thought was cool or exciting. Everything I stopped in horror, either from the dialogue spoken or the consequences that would lead to what just happened in the story. It was
oh my goodness! And they could not be more on the nose about Hellbrand. And then it is the most pathetic misdirect at the end of the episode. I'm like, are you kidding me? After what you've done in this episode, really? And if you think they aren't trying to ship Galadriel and Hellbrand,
it was so bad.
I mean, my goodness, she gives him full on F me eyes.
Yeah,
and not only once. Twice, and the second time is even like she's just like, take me now, Hellbrand.
Even though she calls him scum in this episode as well.
Oh my goodness! So, all right, we need to jump into spoilers. We will bring up the episode, and so we'll bring up the screen if we can. Hopefully, this will work. Yep. So this is the rings of the powers of the rings of powers. We open up with the orcs, and my first like observation, they have this close up of the canopy thing, and it's like that's a lot of effort to just try and cover when they're already digging a huge amount. It's like just dig a tunnel.
Also, I just noticed there's light shining through that.
I know.
There's sunlight. That would burn them. Beams of light coming through.
Oh, and the burning, look, I have it at the end, but I'll just, because it's brought up now, they literally show their skin frying. They're not supposed to be vampires. They're just supposed to not like the light. They don't burn in it. And then later, they actually are in the light. They decide to go in anyway, and they're not burning anymore.
Yeah, because it's like, put on.
They can't even be friggin' consistent. All right, so yeah, the goblins, and I'm wondering, like, they're all wearing basically the same thing. If you look close at what they're wearing, it's like crocodile skin.
Yeah,
there's no difference or variety or randomness. It's just all, and it comes off, makes it look really fake. And so yeah, it's Discount Legolas is there. Go. Did you want to say it? Go.
His friends are there. Somehow, conveniently, they showed up at the same place. And it is never mentioned how or why they are there. Didn't they go in the opposite direction of where that camp is?
Yes!
They left. They went away. Back to Elfland. And somehow the orcs maneuvered around, captured them.
And didn't get seen.
No! No plot!
Already, I'm watching this like, sure.
Just because.
They want someone that he knows, and then, even if they did it, like, I doubt that they would have caught them anyway. These, like, super tough elves and everything like that.
I mean, it makes sense for him, because he was in a tunnel stuck, doesn't know what he's doing. He was tumbling around. These guys probably, like, armoured up, walking
Armoured up, exactly.
Yeah. On patrol? Ready?
And then when you see the level of skill these elves have in fighting towards the end, where they are able to take on goblins, orcs, a warg, while chained up, you're telling me somehow they got caught when they had armor and weapons on. And that's what that's the last time we saw them. That's the only, thing that we can, like, presume based off what we've seen. And then they're just there. Like, sure, all right, whatever you say, show. And then, so I'm like, they're digging, right? And I'm thinking, all right, this is a lot of effort to go to. I'm expecting there needs to be a really good reason for this. And we find out that they're looking for something. And it's only mentioned really briefly later on. So whatever they're looking for, you know what I bet it is? I already know. It's so bloody obvious. Do you want to guess?
No, what is it?
It's the sword the kid has. Friggin' guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, no, because he's with them. And yeah, no, that makes sense.
Well, the kids with the villagers that escaped to the Elven Tower.
I'm saying that, like, the elf has relationships with that, so it makes sense for them to rejoin, because what's going to happen? The United Reunion.
Chat says they are looking for plot.
Haven't found it in days.
Yeah, they're looking for a script that makes sense. Also, let us know if the sound is good. I think someone mentioned that there was a weird sound before in the chat. If there's a weird sound, let us know. We'll try and move the mic around and fix it up. Yeah, so they're looking for something, and everything is so obvious in this show. This would be such a cop-out, easy thing, and it's like, we'll find out, but I bet it's a solve. But there are so many things in this episode that is so predictable and obvious. There's no, like, you know, big twist or, oh, that surprised me. And I need to keep track of where I'm at in my notes. So, they mention that they're serving something named Adar. And it's basically a Sauron misdirect. You know it's not going to be Sauron. They won't introduce Sauron this early, especially walking with the plebs in these tunnels and everything like that.
I reckon Sauron isn't going to... They're going to do what they did with Adar, but in the final episode of the season. It's going to be revealed at the very, very, very end. Who Sauron is, but we already know.
Oh yeah, that's so obvious, right? So then, okay, they're digging, they're looking for something, all right, but still, you know, why are they only digging in the daytime? When the orcs don't, they seem to be somewhat weaker or more vulnerable. They even avoid trying to quell people trying to escape for a little bit because they don't like the sunlight, then they force themselves out. All right, just get them to dig during nighttime.
Yeah.
But every time we see these orcs, we only see them in daytime. You know what that implies? That they're only having them dig in daytime, which is bloody retarded because they're orcs and they're constantly afraid of the sun. But we never see them at nighttime here.
No. Does this whole episode take, like, one day? Was it ever night in this episode?
It seems like it's only, like, one day for these guys, but a few days might pass for Numenor and things. Oh, gosh. And so there is astounding incompetence. And it only takes the brief common sense to just think about the scene and, you know, what affects the characters in the given scene, what are their motivations, everything like that, to set up something mildly realistic. And already, we're at the very beginning and it's like, this is crap. It's not making sense. You have artificial conveniences where characters meet up and all this stuff. And, yeah. And so there we go. Galadriel wakes up, right? And there is this weird expression she has. Let's see if we can catch this expression here. She looks up and she has this expression of almost, I don't know, contempt. She's looking around. Look at that expression. She's like, it's like, oh. It's an expression like this again. It's like, you just got saved. Wouldn't you be relieved? And this is the first sign of how contemptible they make Galadriel. And it's a small thing, but it is just case in point for the entire episode. She is a complete contemptible cow in almost every single interaction, even when she wakes up and her life was just saved. And instead of having relief, she's like, ugh, how dare they save me? These plebs, you know? She is awful, and it's in the very beginning scene that there's a clear indication of this.
There's only one time that she smiles in this episode, I think in the season so far, when she's riding a horse, which means Galadriel's a crazy horse girl, it's confirmed.
And also when she's hitting on Halbrand at the very end.
And I tuned out of that bit because that got weird.
All right, are you guys ready for the sample of the quality writing in this show? Like, we have not gone far, and we get hit with a zinger. She wakes up, and Halbrand exclaims, "She lives." What gave that away, Halbrand? The fact that she woke up and is alive and breathing? He's like, she lives like how about she wakes or something? I know it's stating the obvious, but that would be something a bit of in context as to what's actually happening.
You're right, though. Like, as much as all they live is used in one context, it's used with parents talking to teenagers who've slept in too much.
Yeah.
Not for the stranger who you've crashed on a ship with.
Exactly. And it's out of context, because if he's doing it like, you're actually alive kind of thing, it's like, you know that you literally almost died, but you know she's alive, and it's like, come off it. Anyway, so yeah, you could have used like she wakes or something, any number of things. And then Galadriel, she's got a line where she says, "Our hosts, saviors, or captors." And I'm like, look, are you in the brig, or are you in like some type of, you're just in the hull underneath, and you're not tired. You are on this like
there's no chains, no ropes. You're getting fed food, which, by the way, when she was all concerned with the food, and he's like, "Oh, it's not poisonous." to humans, I was thinking, is there anything that would be poisonous to humans? Oh, sorry, poisonous to elves and not humans? Because I feel like elves were the like greater beings.
Yes.
If it were dangerous to elves, I think it would wipe out humans.
I'm laughing because I literally have the same thing noted.
Yeah, like, is there kryptonite but only for elves?
I know. It's like... So the line just like... Elves are basically super people, especially in this show, what they've been depicting. And it's like, okay. And they're so desperate to give him... they're so desperate to make Halbrand come off charming that they're just giving him dumb lines. Yeah. Like, it's not poison to humans anyway and stuff like that. He's a charming guy. All right, so the sailors, and like... Their breastplates look awful. What was the budget on this show again? Like 70 million per episode or something like that?
I was just wondering, what is the armor the seamen are wearing? It's either wood or bone. But either way...
It looks like leather.
There's no craftsmanship present in its design at all. It is just this bland sheet.
Chad is like, what the freak could poison an elf? It would have to be like evil magic poison to poison an elf. Like, elves have this incredible constitution, better than humans in this universe. Yeah, and so they're wearing, like, what also throws me is, like, it's such a, I guess, like, it's a uniform. They're all wearing a strict colour palette and stuff like that. And it's like, maybe, I guess, like, there were uniforms in militaries, but we're looking at, like, what, 1700s in the, in the British military and stuff like that. And for a medieval setting, it just doesn't feel right. But... That's why they're going with a really strict kind of military structure thing.
Also, I just think on a boat, I don't think you want to wear any sort of armor, really.
Well, that's why I think it's leather. That's their excuse. The thing is, though, you can historically, they did wear metal armor at times on a boat, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, though.
Yeah, but look at the shaping of the breastplate. Like, look at this guy right here, okay? You get a kind of... It's just really poorly shaped and plain and ugly as a result. And I mean, yeah, compare this to literally House of the Dragon, right? And even the armor that I think is bad still looks 1,000 times better than this. Like Damon's armor, I'm not a fan of, but it still looks so much better.
Yeah, Lisa has style.
Yeah. Oh, like, this is just such
like
awful.
The main cast guy here's got a bit of flair, if you could call that. But then the guy behind him has... literally nothing on him.
Well, see the main guy's armor. So we're looking at this guy's armor, right? See where the cuirass comes in, but then it's like it's got fake scales coming out, but it's attached. It's part of the breastplate.
Yeah.
And so it's literally coming to over here on the breastplate. You know what that means? When he tries to raise his arm like this, it'll dig in because our arms have this interesting thing where, look, my arm is hanging here further out, but if I raise it, it literally moves in and it's now next to my head, right? Because of this armor, you wouldn't be able to raise your arms higher than this. Like this would be extremely awkward armor, and it's just profoundly impractical, and it looks like dog crap as well. So, there's the budgets, people. And look, sometimes you do see the budget, but for a budget this big, there's like no excuse for crappy prop armor like this. It's dog crap. All right, so we got that. They're all wearing padded... breastplate. I got to make sure I get all my notes. Great writing here, guys. One of the elder aboard my ship? Yeah, you put her there, you moron. What did you expect? And I know I was trying to say it in the context of like such strange times as this, but there's so many like just intelligent lines you could give than something that just sounds completely stupid because he follows up with strange times indeed. Like maybe you could say an elf stranded with a man in the middle of the ocean, strange times, but because he says an Eldar aboard my ship, you know that you put it. All right, so we're doing great. We're doing great. Oh, guys, we're not done yet. You think the dialogue and conversation is... Oh, by the way, who's got a dagger? There's a lantern, right? They're so just obvious about this stuff. She says, "What vessel is this?" And then he ignores that and he says, be at ease, I'm not obliged to deliver you... Sorry, be at ease, I'm obliged to deliver you to my betters. I was like, that's not what she asked. All right, so... and he has no... Yeah. Okay, and that's the question I have, like, obliged to deliver to her betters, right? Why? This is a good question, because he is implying that there is a law that obligates him to deliver her to his betters. Well, like, Numenor has a standing order, hey, look, if you come across elves, we want to question them. But guess what? When he delivers her to them, they say he committed treason for letting an elf into their borders!
Yep.
This show is just contradictory stupidity! They can't even keep track of the concepts that they establish in this thing. And he then tries to say, they introduced such a dumb concept. The sea is always right. I laughed. I paused and I laughed at the stupidity about this. Because, like, the sea is always right. You know what would have happened if you didn't intervene? The sea would have killed them. You are literally contradicting the will of the sea by saving them. But the sea is always right. And then he's trying to say that, the sea is always right, meaning that the sea wouldn't have delivered them to me if I wasn't supposed to save them. It's like, look, there are multiple ways to interpret this. Like I said, you are now contradicting the will of the sea by saving them. But that's his excuse to actually save them, which means what he says here, I'm obliged to deliver you to my betters, is bullcrap. It's actually the complete reverse, but he literally is saying right here, like it's a law he has to follow. Freaking crap show! Can't stand it. Oh my goodness. Any thoughts on this part?
Then there's a part after this when they're asking, to what port do we sail? And then he's like, see for yourself, we're almost there. And then, what's his face is like, nearly where? And then he just, long pause, awkward smile, home. People, they're just asking, where are we going? Oh, you'll find out. Yeah, you'll see. Where
are we going? Home. Like, so he does tell them, but then he doesn't tell them.
Who are you?
Where the home is.
They could have cut that way sooner, had a big epic cool shot, and so that his awkward dialogue with them just being like, where are we going? Oh, like, my comment here was that not only was this conversation like a politician trying to give a non-answer, because he wasn't giving them the answer, you could have shot away sooner to reveal where they are, instead of the question just keep getting asked, where are we?
It makes it awkward and clunky. You're absolutely right. And then he stole her dagger, guys. And like, what is this trying to say about this character? The first thing we introduce is that is basically a thief. Is he really there to help him? They're trying to say there really is to help him. He'll still steal from them in his act of, charity and kindness to help them. There's no reason to do this, right? But the reason why, and this is quintessential of the talent and standard of these writers, right? What they want is they want Halbrand to do something to make Galadriel want to jump his bone. And so this is the reason. They will contradict like consistent characterization to force this. What can we do? We'll have someone steal Galadriel's dagger and then he'll steal it back for her and that'll make her really hot for him. And it's like, everything else that they show about this character, how honorable and just he is, he wouldn't do this. And this is one example amongst multiple I have noted of them doing exactly this, where something happens that is the quick, why on earth they do that? It's like, it's to force an action later on, and you don't have the talent to do it naturally. They can't think of any natural way to achieve what they want, and then they force it. And like the blanket thing they have above the tunnel thing that they're digging, the trench, right? That's an exact example of this, where they want something to happen later on in the episode, and they will contradict the laws of common sense and reality to force it to happen. And they put a blanket over top. The orcs could just dig at nighttime, but no, they want something to happen, and then they'll just do stupid things to set it up. And if you've seen the episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Nathan does. I'll point it out when we get there. And there are multiple examples of this, which just shows how unbelievably amateurish this writing is. All right? Where oftentimes as a writer, you do have that, like, this would be really cool if this happens, but it's your job, if you're a talented writer, is then to set that up naturally, so things naturally evolve towards that. Not to contradict common sense characterization and just they set up such stupidity to force it, because they don't have the talent to do it normally. because the writers said so. That's right, chat. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, he stole the data, and he wouldn't, like, just by the person this is. Okay, so this is an example of where they finally give a type of exposition that's justified in the scene. In the previous episode, they did multiple times where a character says something that everyone in the scene knows. Here, Halbrand says, "What's this place?" And that actually sets up a reason for Galadriel to explain it to him, which also explains it to the audience. It's like, oh, they did one of the most basic 101 things of storytelling. They have a what's in the scene to have someone explain something to.
They finally did it.
But if they know how to do it, why do they break that in the second episode so much? I don't know. Oh, gosh. Whew. So, they have that. And there's one prop I could probably give them, but then it's kind of undermined. Numenor. That does look pretty epic. Though, wait. What's this thing in the very center? What's this thing like right here? Can you see this? It's like, oh, they're just copying Minas Tirith. Because they lack the creativity to come up with their own epicness. They need a copy better works. It's like, you almost had me there, and then I'm like, oh, you're just copying something and just making it bigger. Come off it, guys. Seriously? Oh, my goodness. We apologise if we're tired, by the way. We've been working long.
But also these lights. I swear it's... People say it. I'm always yawning. I swear it's these lights. I don't know yawn at my desk or when I'm in here. But when these lights come on...
That just hits you.
I'm just like, oh, the brightness.
Okay, so... this is funny, and it contradicts something else, right? So Galadriel, she's getting off the boat, right? And if you have a look at her, let's see if there's a scene, right? There's no indication that she's an elf. Yeah, her hair is completely covering her.
I'm so glad you're mentioning this show.
All right, you go.
I got so mad at it because she gets off the boat. And I checked this 3 times over. I went back to see. But someone's like, is that an elf? And then someone's like, oh, never mind. But the whole time, ears covered completely. Mm-hmm. You could not tell she was an elf at all.
Yeah.
And then later, her ears are showing, and nobody spots her. And goes, hey, you're an elf.
I know. There's a time she literally walks past people, and in this scene, everyone notices she's an elf because reason. In the next scene, because they don't want people to know she's an elf. No one knows she's an elf, even though she's walking past people the same way she's walking past people right here. It's friggin' retarded. The contradictory crap, the incompetence of this show is unending. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm screaming, it's cathartic. I need to get this out. It is painful to review this sludge. Oh, so yes, there's that.
And then I think this next bit here, when she's talking to him, is probably the worst case of womansplaining I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When
I didn't write down what she says. You have notes?
He was asking, since when did men build a kingdom such as this? And then she says, these men are not like you. In the Great War, your ancestors stood with Morgoth. These men stood with the elves. As a reward, the valor granted them this island, which has changed much since then. And then he's like, do I detect a note of envy? And she's like, not envy, sorrow. And then they go on to say...
And goes again, and you're right. She's like none of this information was asked, but it's her job to explain everything, but it's not really for Halbrand, it's for the audience.
Also, just the fact that she says that, you and your people were awful.
Yeah.
You served Morgoth. You're terrible. Suck. And then at the end, she's like, you're a king. You're so good. You should be great. Join me in the great forces. And he's like, I can't. My ancestors, they served Morgoth. We were awful. We're dark, evil people. And she's just like, what are you talking about? You
are right here, Galadriel. You two-faced cow! Oh. Don't give me this. Oh, no, you know why? She's like, oh, no, you're not evil anymore. It's because she has the hots for him now. It's like, now I'll ignore all that. So, you're a king.
And just the fact that he brushes it off and goes, oh, you're a bit jealous, aren't you? Like, dude, call her out. She's being, racist, basically, to you as a human.
Yeah. The elves are so racist in this. Oh, by the way, I also saw a super chat from Gary from Nerdrotic. Dude, awesome, man. Can't wait to chat about this with you. Also, I'll be on Gary's channel talking about House of the Dragon.
Hopefully Sunday night better than this.
And I'm sure Gary will talk about this on Friday nights tomorrow. Guys, go check that out. And if I'm awake, maybe I'll message to see if I can hop in. Because I've got... Gary! Oh, it's so bad! Okay. So we got that. They asked if it was an elf. So there's a line like, why did Numenor turn back ships? And she's like, we're about to find out. And the thing is, we don't actually find out.
Okay, let me see what notes I had. Yeah, so she said, once elves came and went freely from these shores, our people were as kin, sharing gifts, knowledge. What happened? Numenor began to turn away our ships. In time, they broke off all contact. Do the elves just forget, like, their relationships with people?
I know, and you know what's weird? This episode establishes that there is a king who's locked away who was friendly to elves.
Yeah.
So that means he must have been letting in elven ships.
Yeah.
And he's still alive. And so elves clearly haven't been turned away for very long, Galadriel. You're not just so stupid to stay up to date with current events.
But I will laugh so hard if another elf forgot a friend's wedding. Or birth. If they're like, why do you hate elves? They didn't come to my grandfather's wedding. They didn't see my birth. What are you doing, elves? 40 years?
Yeah, and it isn't explained why they hate elves or turn them away. It's just that they hate them now because reasons. Look, the show actually gives a lot of, I guess, unspoken reasons in the world why you'd want to hate elves. Yeah. I mean, if you have any interaction with Galadriel, you would banish every elf from your proximity immediately. Guys, Halbrand looks at people forging things.
And
hint. It's like, gee, you're being very subtle here, Amazon. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyway, they go into the thing and there's like, patience, we are men and women of Numenor, and then it fades off and I'm like, that was just a weird line. What does he say? Oh, they clearly know they're men and women of Numenor. Why is he telling him that? And he fades him out before he can even hear what this guy in the center is saying.
And just what he says next, he says, I suggest we set history aside for a moment and show some restraint. Do you know who you're with? She showed no restraint ever!
And what's hilarious about this, let's set history aside for a moment. I'm like, hang on, Halbrand, you're supposed to know nothing about the Numenorians. And so what history are you like Galadriel just briefly mentioned a couple of things, but you don't know if there's any deep-seated, annoyance or if Galadriel particularly hates them. And so it seems like it's just coming up with information out of the ether. And then show some restraint. Let's try not to antagonize these people. It's like, oh, well, they clearly know Galadriel then.
Yeah, be with her stuck in a boat. Obviously, you know that she can restrain herself.
And so it's like, it's hilarious. Even the show is aware of how much of a cow she is. Yeah. And it doesn't change anything.
It gets worse.
She's still a cow. And she dials it up when she's speaking to the queen.
But I will admit, before we get to the queen bit, this guard does actually see her ears.
Yeah, well, this is hilarious. She must have done that before her hair was covered.
Yeah.
And at some moment she decided to go like that.
Yeah. No one could see her ears before. But now, this is one bit that makes sense. Then later, her ears are revealed. No one can see her. She's invisible. Even though guards are like, where is she? Where is she? Women are just like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
They can't remain consistent. Like, how do you know it's an elf? Is it the ears? Because if so, you've got to show the ears for us to know.
And so the guard says that the Queen Regent and the other guy they're busy. And then the guy says, I don't know, something like he's got an elf with him. And ooh, lets him in. And then walks in, and the Queen and the guy, they're not doing a thing. She's not even talking to anyone.
No, she's just standing there.
Yeah,
on the high step.
Clearly very busy. Literally just walks in on them doing nothing. Okay, so he says kneel, and she's like, no one kneels in Numenor. And I'm like, is that accurate? I don't know. I'm not that much of an expert.
Let us know. I don't expect it to.
But it just found like, it sounds like the show just trying to create, oh, look how cultural the Numenorians are.
They're so progressive. You don't kneel to your king and queen.
It's like, I'm not sure about that. Okay. And then Galadriel, right? Like, I know a little bit about the lore. Enough to get, like, I don't think this is true. Galadriel says, it's because of elves you were given this island. And I was like, okay, you condescending cow. She comes in, everything you have is because I'm an elf, we're an elf. It's just, she comes off so cowish. And to my knowledge, the Numenorians, the ancestors of Numenorians, were led to the island of Numenor from the Silmaril that was set into the sky and it shines above the island, and they were led there. But look, people who know the lore, fact check me on that. All right. But anyway, the Queen comes back with a pretty solid retort. Am I up to pictures? Yeah. She says they paid for the island with the blood of their kin. Guess what Galadriel's follow-up line is? Do you think she's going to follow on from that concept and try and address that?
She says that if blood is the price of passage, I will pay it.
Galadriel? That's not what the Queen said! She wasn't saying you have to pay for blood. She was saying, no, we earned this island from our own blood, sweat, and tears. And Galadriel's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I will pay for blood passage.
Implying she'll kill and murder.
So what? Yeah, you'll kill
her boat home.
Or kill yourself? What are you trying to say, Galadriel?
But even the part of this conversation, right? The women cut the men off all the time in this conversation, and just the way it works, the king was like, a man and elf together, and then Halbrand's just like, circumstances arose that, and then Galadriel cuts him off and says, we are companions by chance. Yeah. Which later she says isn't true. Stuff happens in the story that changes, I guess. Met on the open sea, your captain, he delivered us from certain death. Okay. From certain death.
From certain death.
Implying that Galadriel jumping off the boat meant certain death.
So she acknowledges.
Yes!
She just went to commit suicide.
She was gonna die! And end up there anyway! What?
Oh, man. This show is nonsense, relentless nonsense. They can't even keep track of the continuity and concepts that they have. She acknowledges, I couldn't believe she acknowledges that she threw herself to certain death. Oh, by the way, the sea is always right.
Oh.
The sea wanted her to die. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so this entire dialogue is it's hard to express how bad it is. It's poorly written just from a technical standpoint of the way it flows. It's a massive non sequitur. It doesn't flow, all right? And then it implies something utterly bizarre and just, what the hell are you saying? Like you'll kill or you'll sacrifice your life for passage, which again wasn't even what the Queen was implying with that. And then she goes on and contradicts and undermines.
Yeah. Yeah. But just the way that the duos work and they talk to each other. There's a part where Halbrand talks to the Queen and the Queen looks at the King for him to answer back. Like she doesn't talk to him. She talks to Galadriel instead. Like, weird power dynamic happening here in this room.
Yeah, and I thought he would be the king from the trailers, but he's actually not a king. He's like some type of counselor. The king is locked in a tower.
No, but he's the old king. I thought he was the new king.
No, so the guy...
Don't we have the X-ray thing we can have a look?
So...
The old... Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the guy that's in the scene is not the king. So it's this guy here. Okay, yeah. So see this guy right here?
The guy with the grey beard.
Yeah, he's not the king.
He's not?
No, the current king is in the tower who liked the elves, remember?
But I thought that they exiled that king.
No, into the tower. He's like...
So he's... Okay, well then the story isn't conveying it properly to me because I thought that...
Let me know in the chat. Maybe I'm wrong. But I thought, yeah. Then again, she's like, Galadriel, but one way or another I will depart. And it's like... You overly demanding condescending. You have no power here, Galadriel. What the hell makes you think you would get anywhere talking like that? Yeah. And this thing, only the most supreme narcissist would actually think talking like that would work.
Yeah.
She is an unbelievable self-centered narcissist with borderline personality disorder.
But I feel like even narcissists know how to get what they want. But Galadriel just says things which would get her just killed or kicked out or imprisoned. Like, she doesn't even care for her own skin because she says stuff and everyone's like, oh, we're gonna, like, beat her up or do something. And she's like, I don't care, I'm just going to keep saying it.
And are you ready for another massive non sequitur?
Sure.
Queen says, "You're welcome to try." And Galadriel follows up, "I have no need of your welcome." Galadriel, she wasn't welcoming you, you moron! I didn't even get that one.
That's like the most grade 1 comeback.
I know! It's like the writers just latched onto it's the same word, so therefore we can use that word in a completely different context.
Oh my.
She's such a moron! But guess what that means? The writers are morons, because they wrote this crap. You're welcome to try. I have no need of your welcome. I'm only on page 2, guys! And we're like, how could anyone think that this is competent or well done? It's unbelievable how, relentlessly bad this is. My goodness. Like, again, if this was on a manuscript submitted for publication, everything, you saw that, you go, mate, go back to school. You have no idea how conversation works. It was this line or the previous line where I tweeted out, the writers don't know conversation. They just don't understand. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So they say, our leaving presents some complications. And I'm like, okay, but what are they? We're all seeing that Galadriel demands things like a Karen, and then she... I think it's the Queen. I'm trying to remember who says that. Is it the Queen that says the leaving presents complications? Because what I'm trying to say is, what are those complications, though?
They never explain them.
Yeah, just chuck her on a boat, let her leave. They don't...
It's because there hasn't been an elf that has come or gone from this land in so long. How can we
it's
let
weird.
that happen?
It's weird. So get this, right? They try and make this like a gun on the mantelpiece lantern. It's like there's something mysterious to why, there's complications of letting her leave. And then at the end, you see the Queen going to what appears to be the bed of the king who's locked in the tower. And she says, the elf... Actually, I have it written down here. It is... doesn't cover something about the elf that we were expecting is finally here, or something like that. And it's like, hang on. You have like some weird prophecy thing of an elf returning? And it's like, but you have a law that prevents all elves from anything. It's treason if you let an elf in. Yeah. And is it because this elf will bring doom to Numenor or something like that, and you're trying to prevent an evil dark prophecy? But all of this, and that's me injecting my own headcanon here because it comes off as nonsense. It's like, nice try. It's very poorly set up if they're trying to set up an arc or a reveal. And anyway, so all Galadriel has done is just piss off the Queen and then expect like she's going to get help. It's complete unbelievable narcissism. Oh my goodness. All right. I'll let you mention the next one. I need to catch up where I'm at.
I was just like, they finished the conversation now with my notes.
Okay. All right.
With that?
In this scene?
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple.
Well, when they walk away and they start talking to each other and having a bit of a romantic, intimate session.
Yeah. So, you telling me there's like no trade routes that even sail near Middle Earth or patrol ships or anything? It'll be so easy to just chuck her. Like again, if she is an elf that is bringing like doom, you would want to get rid of her as soon as possible, not keep her around. And so either the prophecy said that an elf was coming and they needed her, and so then why do you have the law to prevent any elf from coming into Numenor? Or she brings doom and you don't want her here, and if that's the case, why aren't you friggin' yeeting her out of Numenor as fast as bloody possible? Don't friggin'
Also, I just thought if she can jump off a boat and then swim back, she could probably just jump into the water right now.
I know, she should just swim across the ocean, Galadriel.
If you did it before, you can do it again.
But now she admits it was certain death.
Why would you do it?
Oh my goodness. So anyway, Halbrand is easily the most intelligent character in this scene, by the way. And again, it seems inconsistent. He has showed no diplomacy skills at all with the way he was talking with Galadriel, who's just like, piss off, elf, I'll do my own thing. And now he's like, we do, and all that crap is like inconsistent. But again, clear hints that, guess what? there's more to Halbrand than meets the eye. Okay, and then they need 3 days to decide to let them go, and I'm like, for what? What reason? This is just all nonsensical random crap. Oh my goodness. And so there's that exchange, and yeah. Oh, look. Who is this man? A strange, sexy man. There's something that happens that's really obvious, right? So, is it here? Yes. Halbrand goes, Captain, you have my thanks. I need to go back just a bit because this is like.
Yeah, I'll put it down for you so you can find it.
No, I got it. So, you have my gratitude, he says. Gives him a big old high. So he's like, oh, he's stealing the dagger back.
Yeah.
Like, it was so obvious. It's like, they can't do anything with subtlety. It's just so...
They can't even be subtle with it.
Yeah.
Everyone around him should see that as well. Like, oh, he's going to hug the guy? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, hey, he took his wallet.
And so, all right, is this... Because, of course, he gives it... Oh, so that's the FBI.
Do me eyes.
Yeah, you're like, I'm ready. Halbrand, take me now. And if you think that's bad, it happens a second time. Like, look, she even goes like... She's just feeling thirsty, let's just say. Look, now she's gazing into his eyes.
We're going to touch.
And so he must have already given the dagger back. Where it is.
I seek to say.
Because he just like, oh, by the way, here it is. So maybe we'll need to bring it down so I'll get it to the right spot. Because it's so obvious. And when it happens, it's like, oh, gee, didn't half expect that. So, oh, there's the sexy eyes again. So the sexy eyes happens before the dagger? We're getting there. So he hasn't given the dagger back. Yet. I know he clearly does, ready? So there it is. He pulls her close and is like, take
my dagger.
And can we take this full screen?
Yes.
We'll be brief.
Let me.
So, ready? Look at Galadriel. Look at these eyes. They're laying on it a bit thick, I think. Gee. Yeah, we can bring it down. They're not trying to, ship these two characters together.
Not at all. But just the way that they talk to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he says, the Southlands will be there in 3 days. And she's like, but will its people? And then, he's like, look around, this is paradise, ripe with opportunity. You should expect me to leap back to you in the furnace?
It's not... And when she says, but will its people, like, don't give me that bullcrap, Galadriel. You don't give a toss about those people.
You called him dirty evil because his ancestors with Morgoth, so with the rest of them.
Yeah. And you are happy to leave the poor people of that raft to die to save your own skin.
Wow, Shad. Guess what she says next? You leapt into the sea to save one life, I think implying her.
Yeah.
I seek to save many. Even though 30 seconds ago, she's like, who am I going to kill? I'll do it. I'm going to get out of here. I will shed blood. And when she's on the boat and she saw the worm, she was like, no, I'm out of here.
See ya.
Save many lives, Galadriel. Yeah.
She was
sure.
She was so happy to drive her men into death in her obsession in hunting Sauron. Let them all die before she just goes in and kills the And by the way, we need to do an honourable mention about the troll fight scene because someone pointed out, I saw this on Twitter, they count the amount of people in the snow and it's like 6 or 7.
And then there's more in the fight scene?
And then at least 3, or if not 4, just flat out die. There's no way they're alive. And then when they're putting down their swords, there's more of them there than when we saw them approach. There's like 8. I'm not kidding. That's how bad their continuity is in this show.
It's not that hard. You just keep the cast together.
Yeah, I think if you look up Rings of Power Can't Count, you'll find someone made a little clip of it, actually counting it out as like, this shows incompetence. Like, it's unending. The more you dig, the more you find.
Also, he says, I've been searching for my peace for longer than you know. She's an elf.
Yeah.
In context, before we understand, he's a human being.
Yes.
It's a bit...
So... this is what I mean. Either it is the most stupid line ever, or it is the most blatantly giveaway line you could imagine.
Yeah,
it's
like a giveaway line.
I wonder who he is. He says this to an elf that's literally thousands of years old, and is like, what's the line? Because I'm not up to there on my notes.
What he says.
Yeah.
I've been searching for my peace for longer than you know.
For longer than you know. And look, yeah, gosh. So anyway, there's a couple of little lines previously where it's like, Captain, my gratitude. Oh yeah, when they're walking away, Gladriel's like, good queen?
Yeah, good queen.
It's like, what? You're not going to be polite? She's literally like, has her back up and is resentful to him for being polite. She's that much of a cow that she dislikes people.
Compliments.
For being polite.
Yeah.
I was like...
She's just mad that he didn't mention how she'd be like an orc.
Yeah.
That she's a bit upset that, there wasn't any mean words we could say to her.
Oh, gosh. And so anyway, there's like another non sequitur where Halbrand ignores something that she says. He says the Southlands will be there in 3 days. Oh, yeah, no, that's it. That's the beginning. She's like, in 3 days.
Yeah.
The very follow-up line Halbrand says, to good queen, he doesn't even acknowledge that. He's like, the Southlands will be there in 3 days. That's the literal follow-on line from that.
Yeah.
And it's like... non sequitur, like... Oh my goodness.
It's because he can't correct her.
He
can't be like, because I am polite.
I hate her. She is like the most cowish character. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I've written all caps that, like, I can't believe they're trying to start a romance between these two. Because, for one, I can't stand Gladriel. She has no redeeming qualities for her at all. And this scene, right, has been an utter frustration for him, probably, because she keeps saying stuff, and then he's like, shut up! You're gonna get us killed! And then they, like, switch daggers or whatever, and then they're all like, ooh.
Ooh, like, look at that face. She's just like...
Like, there is no interest. He doesn't want to help her on a quest, so he doesn't want to spend time with her. Like, there is no inkling of romance in the situation, and they're just trying to force something that's not even there.
And yeah, so that line, just following on, like, I've been searching for my peace for longer than you know. Again, it's like, Galadriel, if you are not picking up on these blatant, like, clues, you're such a moron. Oh, gosh. And, gosh. Oh, and he also basically is now on board with her going or leading to the Southlands or something like that. And his shifting, like, alliance with her is constantly on and off, and they're not addressing it. He's happy to stay with her, but saying orcs drove him away and she hasn't heard of them. And anyway, I'm not understanding some of my own things. I try and type so fast and then I was like, what am I... Well,
I do that too sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, so I have those eyes. Okay. Something about... I had a note of resolve this matter quickly. Oh, that's them too. Yeah, they need to resolve this matter quickly. And I'm like, all right, then send her on a boat away. What are they trying to resolve?
We dare not invite your father's cloud back overhead.
Yeah, what does that mean? Is it like...
We'll never know, probably.
It seems like they don't want her fathers to rule again or something. Or, like, what do they... Again, they're reaching for something, like, poetic, but now they've just made nonsense that we have no idea what they're talking about. There's literal lines where the guy, that guy right here, we dare not invite your father's cloud back overhead.
And we don't know this episode. After a whole hour, nothing is revealed.
Gosh. And then tell me about this captain. So the Queen says, tell me about this captain. And I guess it makes sense that the Queen wouldn't know. But this guy seems to know everything about, Cylindil is from a, thing. And it just sounds like, would he even know? I don't know. I felt a bit of a stretch, but it's a small thing. So we're introduced to his son, Isildur, and there's an this show can't go without just past a scene without something incredibly dumb. And this one, right? It seems like they're being tested. They have to go really, really fast. And Isildur, he just decides to pose. So everyone's working hard, and they're under the pump, and he decides to get up, look to the camera, and pose. because this is epic, guys. We got to get this epic
money
feel.
shot.
It's like the money shots are so forced and artificial. It is like, oh my goodness.
And it could easily make sense if they weren't under the pump. But since everyone else is like, whoa, go crazy, he's just like, yeah, mountains.
And then, like the mountains or something, literally whispers his name.
Yeah. Because you got to know who he is.
But I'm like, what the hell are they trying to say here? Is there like some greater power calling to him? Is it a dart? Is it something like... But there's literally an ethereal voice in the distance that calls Isildur. I'm going to mute the sound because if we can keep going. But yeah, this was like... Now, there is this other later kind of comment that says that Isildur is being drawn to the western side of Numenor, and that the father's like, don't go there, the past is dead or you'll die with it, or something like that. And this bloody friggin' show, it's one extreme, right? Either they state things that's so bleedingly obvious to everyone in the scene and the audience that it just like treating the audience like idiots, or they say things and characters do things with literally no context at all, and we have no idea what's going on. Like the incompetence of this writing, and this is just another example of like, what the hell? And then that answer about going to the western side of the island and why he's deferring, and like, you don't know why the dad is so against it, you don't know why he's so, and even if they try and explain it in another episode, the follow-ups are so far, apart that it just ruins the episode that's focusing on. That makes you think, this is retarded. What are they trying to say? It's all just nonsense, confusing bullcrap, or blatant stupidity where they over-explain everything. And so then there's the introduction to something happens, the guy almost dies, and somewhere they all chant, "The sea is always right." And I was just like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? That's like one of the dumbest like philosophical concepts you can have, because what? So when a massive hurricane comes in, it just wipes out a village, kills...
The sea is always right.
Sea is always right. Oh my goodness. And then the fact that they try and interweave that concept with later things, and the dad trying to justify that's why he saved the elf. It's like easy interpretation to contradict that. It's stupid. And then, so they're pulling up to a shore, and I'm thinking, maybe they're going for supplies or something like that. And then the sister comes and meets them. It's like, what? No, they're making shore? Like, you have ports for this.
Nope. They just get rowboats and they go to shore.
Oh, yes.
No ports.
No ports.
And they just all walk.
Mm-hmm. And so then it cuts to the Queen giving what seems to be quite literally a monologue with no follow-up or point to anything about the Queen is talking about the tree and the Valar, and that the petals falling from the tree is like the Valar crying or something like that.
Basically, yeah.
And then she looks to Elendil and changes the topic like...
Well, no, because... she's like, well, what do you think of this? And he's like, in my experience, it is unwise to live one's life guessing after signs and portents. The sea put her in my path, and the sea is always right.
Signs and portents.
I look for signs. I don't believe in mysterious things, but the sea is always right.
Didn't even pick up.
I don't believe in the Valar or these gods that created the earth, even though we've seen more gods fight elves, and we know that these gods are real and have created the universe and yada yada. But the sea is always right.
The sea told me to save Galadriel. This bloody show, man.
Like, I can't stand it.
So, and then, so they mentioned that no elf is welcome. We've already mentioned how this contradicts so much of what they do and what they say in this episode. And then, we talked about the sea put her in the path, and like, really? The sea seemed to like wanted to kill her, and you're contradicting the will of the sea. It's like commit treason. So literally they have a law banning elves. That's treason if you bring them into Numenor.
He said that he has to take her into a better...
To fulfill his, like, obligations. Stupid.
It's one or the other, Amazon. You're going to take a pick.
So then we cut to back to the Orcses. Well, he gets given a sword for some reason because he has to guard Galadriel. And a promotion as well. So back to the Southlands. So again, there's the cloth covering the trenches, and I'm thinking that's a lot of cloth, like a huge amount. This thing stretches for miles. Where the hell do the orcs have orc factory processes of just making insane amounts of cloth to cover their trenches, where they could have just dug underground? But no, there's a reason why they do it. And again, we'll get there, but. So, there's a big brain moment, guys. Big brain moment in the conversation. This tunnel must be how they escaped our detection and how they shield themselves from sunlight. Thanks, Sherlock! That wasn't bloody obvious! I could never have figured that out if this character didn't say it, and I'm sure his friend didn't know. Again, they either have to spell things out because they think the audience are morons, or they completely miss all the context. The writing of this show, man. My goodness. And then they just... Do you have a line?
No, you can't have the scene. Well, what was this time? I got my one comment for this whole scene.
And then they just suddenly divine... something. He's like, they're searching for something. And then he's like, some sort of weapon, perhaps. Where'd you get that from? Like, gosh. And then, by the way, if they were searching for something, this isn't the way you dig for searching for something. You would dig outwards in a whole area. They're digging in a line. And so clearly this is a trench for transportation to reach somewhere. It's a pretty dumb way to search for something. And then again, it's also a pretty dumb transportation tunnel if they're so vulnerable to light, because you've got to manufacture all this cloth overhead when you can just make an underground tunnel, which they've already been doing. And so it's bullcrap. They would have no reason to assume that they're searching for something and no reason to assume it's a weapon. The only reason why they're doing that is hanging a lantern, here's on the mantelpiece, weapon, what weapon could they be searching for? Oh, kid found evil weapon of Sauron. They have no subtlety in this at friggin' all. It's so damn obvious. And then the elf guy, his friend says, they've been ransacking village after village. And I'm like, and you guys didn't notice this? That's your job! Literally your job! And the orcs have been at this long enough to make massive tunnels and ransack villages. Not only that, they've been long enough so much to wipe out villages, and they travel across the continent, end up on the sea on the other side of the continent, and you elves still didn't notice it. You incompetent buffoons. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so there's that.
Yeah, all I had with this scene was that there's not much really to say about the scene except for it seemed really drawn out for a segment about cutting a tree down.
Yeah, I got comments on the tree, guys. I got comments on the tree.
Well, I'm gonna get my drink as well. You keep going.
Because, gosh, they just can't get anything straight. They contradict so much. We get a glimpse of the trench at one point. I hope I find that. So this is where they talk. But let's see if I can get a glimpse of the trench, but I don't want to get pinged for copyright, so we got to go slowly. I'll wait for Nathan because I'll just continue then. They say that's where they mention Adar. Why? And it turns out it's like an elven name. It's interesting. And then they just assume that it might be Sauron. It's like, Sauron was said to have many names. So just because it's a name you don't recognize, you think it's Sauron? You elves, there's already established kind of opinion about Sauron amongst all the elves. He's dead. He's not coming back. Yeah. And so as soon as you see that the orcs are following some type of lead name, Adar, your first assumption is the guy that you think is dead. It's like, it could be any big orc leader or someone. But there's it could be Sauron. Don't give me that. Not with the crap you pulled in the first episode that no one would believe it. Don't give me that crap. Could you take it down? Because I want to show the trench that they eventually show in the shot, because it is really big and really long, and it gives you an idea of just like how much cloth are they using on this thing. It was before then, because it might take me too long to find, because now they're talking about the tree. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to find it. So, all right, I'll let it play in the background, and we'll just address the tree a little bit, because they say, like, cut down the tree. The orc says, go cut down the tree. And the elf comes forward and says, felling this tree would slow our progress. And I'm like, have you seen the size of that tree? You're literally there. All you need to do is dig to the side and keep going, and you wouldn't lose any progress. And so his suggestion is completely moronic. And that would, guess what? Just moving aside, right, would keep the tree alive, which seems to be the thing he's desperate to do. And you could achieve both. But that's not good enough, okay? The orcs is like, cut the tree down. And suddenly, the elves are like, we cannot kill a tree. They're like, oh, hold on. I know in Lord of the Rings there are some special trees, but at no point in the context of the films or even this show did I get the impression that elves would find it some great sin to just chop down a tree. But he literally says, like, the tree has earned its place here, or some bullcrap.
Yeah.
I mean, God, don't give me this chunk. I mean, like, even in Lord of the Rings, like the books and stuff, they were collecting, branches, and they talk about chopping down trees for wood when they get to Fangorn Forest, but then there's like, no, we don't touch any of the trees, that could cause bad things, everything, and in the context that it seemed Legolas was fine with chopping down trees for wood when they need them and stuff. But that's looking to external law and things. Man, I really missed that scene where they found the overhead view of the trench. I guess we gotta move on. But it's a good shot because it sets up what they're trying to show. But anyway,
I think we can get one near the end. There's a good one where they go out, I think.
Okay. So I went. Look, this is one last attempt, but we'll keep talking because as they're doing this, right? They say that they want to have. There's a plan. There's a subtle plan that they want to do, right? They want someone to sneak up to the top of the trench and just take a peek around. And I'm like, you haven't done that already? It's not that high. It's not that hard to get to. I just quickly do it when no one was around. But they're like, oh, we need a distraction or some junk.
Also, the fact that they're like, chop down the tree, and then they're like, oh, we can't do that way. That would give you a good excuse to just go up, chop the tree.
That's hilarious!
Look,
because when he goes up to chop the tree, he literally climbs to the top of the trench.
And they're fine with it because he's chopping the tree.
Oh, you idiots! You're absolutely right. And I think actually when he goes up the tree, that's where we get the shot. But first, the orc hands them water. He's like, this guy has spirit, you deserve a drink. And they look suspect, like, oh, I don't trust this. Of course he's doing something, all right? Yeah. But it seems a bit pointless because the orc didn't need to do this to just kill one of them. He just kill them if that's the intent.
I don't...
We can bring it up now because we'll show what this is. So he hands them a drink. They're all a bit, what's going on, drinking water. And then guy gets slashed. But the thing, it's like a little nick. It's like this little nick here. And like if he cuts something like the jugular or something like that, blood would be pouring out and you bleed out and die. That's how you die. And he just dies and there's like this just little trickle of blood and he's dead. And I'm like...
He goes white quick too. He's out.
Yeah, I mean, like... You barely even see it, ready? And this, like, that's the cut there. Do you see this line on his neck? That's it there. And I was assuming it was going to be a decapitation, right? And there's been decapitations in Lord of the Rings, but it's like they don't have the balls for that. And then they just try and say he dies from this when it looks like a gash on his neck and it doesn't even spew out nearly enough blood to kill someone. And on top of that, he's an elf. He could probably survive longer with blood loss than humans. And so chat says dies from a paper cut. It seems like that.
Basically.
Oh, The orc's like, ah! And yeah, it's like, that's the amount of blood on there, and it's dead. The only thing I could do to explain this, if it's like the most fast-acting poison imaginable, and it has to be dark evil poison to affect elves, because elves you think would be resistant to poison. But that's me making up headcanon, explaining what just is a plot hole in the show that they don't address at all. And so before fighting, he was like, I'll do it. And yeah, he climbs. This is finally where we see the top of the trench. And it's like, so if you just did the first place, you would have gotten, the view that you were planning.
Yep.
It's so dumb. So dumb. And so this is the shot I was looking for. So do you see, could we make this full screen, just briefly, right? Look at the length of this trench. I mean, this one confirms this is not how you search for something in the ground. In archaeological digs, they section off side and dig out the whole area and then a whole other area and it's systematic stuff. They're literally digging a trench towards somewhere. And if they're doing that, why aren't they digging a tunnel? It's all stupid. Sorry, I'm going to take it down again.
Also, what if it happens to someone just wandering and they wander into that? They just fall through the cloth and go, oh!
How long do you think it took to dig this?
So long.
The
one they also haven't found them. They've been taking so long. They've been 1 kilometre.
Sorry, can you make it full screen again? What do you notice in this shot, Nathan? Look to the sides. What do you notice in this shot?
To the sides? What am I looking for? Give me trees?
No, they're not really trees though, Nathan. They were trees.
They've been chopped down.
They've been chopped down?
Yeah.
So why isn't this tree chopped down? All the other trees are chopped down, except the one that was literally in their path. It's like, oh, we'll leave that there. We can bring it down now.
You are so right, Shad. If they had dug just a bit straighter, they would have missed the tree.
Exactly. Or down at this curve over here, move 1 degree to the side, and you would have missed. Again, stupid freaking show. What this is, they wanted some type of confrontation. So there'll be a tree in our path. We'll put a tree in our path. And just blatantly making a mockery of common sense and logic, literally contradicting the very scene that they're depicting where they show all these other trees chopped down. They're like, oh, we'll contradict that to force this confrontation because they lack the competence and talent to just set things up naturally to have the scene that they want.
Someone said, fire the orc engineer.
Gosh. Remember how I said I'd give multiple examples of them doing this at the beginning? Here's another one. The incompetence of this show is relentless. Holy crap. Every new show that comes out, I think, wow, this was worse than the previous one. It can't get worse than this. And I thought Rings of Power with the budget, surely, it couldn't, I was expecting it would be bad, but if it was good, I would acknowledge it, just like I did with House of the Dragons, right? I was thinking, look, it might be half competent with some dumb things in there, maybe half as bad as Halo or something like that. And Halo was unbelievable crap. I think this is worse. I think this is legitimately worse than friggin' Halo. And it's because it's just, I wasn't pausing every, conversation pointing out the most nonsensical dialogue construction because of non sequiturs and bullcrap, and the most stupid analogy, everything, like I am here. Mm. I didn't have to write 7 bloody pages of notes pointing out all the crap. This might literally be the worst show I've ever reviewed.
Out of everything yet? No, I think it is. Wheel of Time is a blessing compared to this.
Yeah.
And that's saying...
Hang on, that hurt me. Wheel of Time, I still... But yeah. This is worse than Wheel of Time. Yeah. You're right. You're right. This is... And Wheel of Time is horrible. But this is... I'm speechless at how bad this is. Moving on. Yeah, all that felling trees, slowing progress back. And anyway, when there's a confrontation, there's another dumb line. When there's a confrontation between the elf and the orc, the orc says, "Try it, elf, and I'll make a map of your back." Is that the best?
Yep. I swear, some of this was written by AI. They put some of the stuff in AI. That's how random some of these things come out of.
It wouldn't surprise me at this point. It's hard. It's so harsh, but it's hard for me to conceptualize writers that take their craft seriously, that have studied this, to be able to actually, unironically write this level of dog crap. They're not writers. If someone gave me this script, I would just think it's a joke.
Yeah.
I would seriously you did this to waste my time, didn't you? Because you can't unironically think that this is competent, let alone the approved script for what, a $70 million episode per show? Or 80, a lot of money. And it just keeps going. When I said this stupidity is relentless, I'm not kidding. Because next scene, without missing a beat, says the soldiers, you will inform Farazan she's escaped. I informed her last time. That was a dog.
Great writing. Very enthralled. So much context there.
What? That was a dog? I mean, what are they trying to say here? That the person he informed him to was a dog? Or that the person that actually escaped was a Galadriel? What are you trying to say? And then, the people making the show don't seem to know how vision works.
No.
When I look forward, my vision expands, okay? Guess what? I can see the roof just above me, right here, without raising my eyes.
My vision, where I'm looking at, I can still see the bookshelf and the sword.
Yeah.
It cuts off, maybe halfway through the dragon.
Yeah, and so you're
I
telling
can see
me...
past the chair, which you can't see. But I can.
They're not... No one is seeing this?
No.
She's not that high up. It's you look forward and you'll just see the movement and... Oh.
Even the way that she jumps down, she...
Let's see, let's catch it. So, look, he's looking at her.
Yeah.
Your face is right there. The periphery of your vision would see her fluttering dress. You incomparable moron. Incomprehensible moron, I tried to say. Oh.
But then she doesn't jump down from this. She just comes out the corner.
You're right.
Watch her magical...
It's kind of a jump, but I guess. And then, ready? She literally walks past people here, okay? And everyone noticed her if she was an elf before, and now they're like...
And they just saw a guard running, looking for someone. And then this woman...
You can even see her ear there!
Like I said!
Bloody friggin' shoot!
Ear is there! The women are there! And they don't look. But when her hair was covered, people were like, is that an elf? That's an elf, isn't it? It's an elf. Can't see her ears, but it's an elf.
Oh, yeah. It's right, look at me. Oh, my goodness. And then she smiles I'm so good. Oh, that, did we mention she's a narcissistic, condescending cow of a character? And then, magically, she runs into the dude just knew that's where she would be.
Yep.
Is he just he decided, I'm going to wait here. I'm supposed to be, guarding her. She here, yeah.
Yeah, probably should have been
wait here.
where she was.
Yeah.
But I guess the second best place would be where the boats are. But also being a port, a big port.
There's a lot of places. There's a lot of places
boats.
and a lot of ports in this city. So he's like, no, this is the one. I'll wait here.
You're right. That's very dumb.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So we got the jumping. Just Illendale's right there, and he's like, that. She's looking at a skiff, right? They're like, that skiff will barely get you out of the harbour. And she says, I assure you, it's an upgrade on my prior mode of passage. They are so desperate to sound Tolkienian that it's mode of passage? You mean mode of transportation? But even then it would be overly clunky and stuff. It's just a mode of passage?
Then my last vessel.
And again, she's such a cow. She can't ever admit that she was wrong. No. It's like, Linda was like, that skiff, that will never get you where you're going. And it's like, still better than what I had before. Screw. It's like, but even though she said, you saved me from, what was it? Like, inevitable death or something
basically.
Like. And it's like, it's better than what I had before, even though it still cursed me to, like, inevitable death. I forget the exact line. But no, she's like, she doesn't admit that she's wrong. She's always right, and just condescends to him again. Oh my goodness.
The one that got me though was when he was saying how the Queen now has him on guard for her, and they talks about how the Queen's not happy I brought you here and stuff, and then she says, then she and I have something in common after all.
It follows on literally because he's explaining that I was assigned to guard you, and then he says, I believe she saw it as a punishment, him needing to guard her.
Yeah,
and then
she says, and. Then she and I have something in common after all. We both wish you'd never brought me here.
You know what I have written out? Like, I wrote that. You could not write a more unlikable character.
Yes.
She's such a friggin' gal!
Before when she said that she was going to die in the ocean and was saved by him, then talks to him and says, boy, I wish you'd never saved my life.
You should have let me die.
Yeah. And he's probably thinking, yeah, I should have.
Yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense for him thinking that, but she's the one who says it. He saved your life, and you're... Again, could you write a more unlikable character than this? Oh, my goodness. And then she draws her dagger on him, and she has to spin it because she's amazing. And so let's see if we'll see the dagger spinning. Ready? She can't even draw a dagger without like
some pizzazz.
Yeah, because she's so amazing, guys. They're so desperate to make her like this kick-ass warrior, and I can't fathom how they've created such an unlikable character when their intent was to make him so wonderful, but. There are reasons why when you...
Well, she doesn't stop being unlikable. Because she also says, who is this mortal who speaks to me as if he has the slightest idea of who I am? Again, I think Galadriel hates mortal beings because she keeps saying that they're filthy, they're evil.
So... Remember how I wrote, you could not write a more unlikable character?
Yeah.
She says that line, I was wrong! You can! Because she just upped herself. That is the most, like, just catty, like, arrogant, up yourself, narcissistic line. Who is this mortal who speaks to me as if he has the slightest idea of who I am?
Well, you did introduce yourself in the courtroom as this Grand Galadriel who was on the army. You gave him an intro at least, so he knows who you are, and everyone went, oh, Galadriel, wow.
That was so astoundingly bad, I had to tweet it out. I was like...
That one, I was like, okay, you don't want me to like this character at all. You want me to hate her.
And then it's like, I have a daughter who runs fast and a son who runs blind. Your eyes bear a striking resemblance to both. And it's like, guys, you can't be Tolkien. Give it up.
No.
All right? You're trying so desperately. And it's just, it comes off as cringe. And then she comes off like,
she says, anywhere is better than here. Well, I am hated by all who see me. Galadriel, just because everyone at home was too scared to say anything. I think back at home, they're like, look, Galadriel, we just have to put up with her. She's one of us, one of our own. But here, it's like this annoying, self-righteous elf that's always like, where at home, they're just like, send her off, do a quest, just keep her busy, okay?
And like, she's complaining, it's so unfair that everyone hates me. Have you even ever, like, metaphorically looked at yourself in the mirror? Have you paid attention? Like, the way that you came in, so up yourself to the Queen, demanding and all this bullcrap, and you're honestly surprised people hate you.
Yeah. But then, he speaks Elvish. and they become best buds.
Because
she is like, oh my gosh, you speak Elvish. You can help me. You're so... Forget everything I said to you that was rude, mean, or cruel. We're going to be best buddies now. Rest of the episode, let's go on adventure. Woo!
And it comes out of nowhere where he's like, oh yeah, the language is in the hall of the law or something like that. And then she's supposed to be like confined to the palace.
Yeah.
The queen, that's the order. That's the order this guy has been given. All right? And then he's like, oh, I'll take you there.
Yeah.
Dude, you're already on the chopping block for committing treason, bringing here. And it's like, I'll just take, like, this show just contradicts itself left, right, and center. What is it doing? But he was like, yeah, I'll take you to the hall of whatever. And also, why does Galadriel want to go there? She's so arrogant and up herself. Why would she honestly think these pathetic mortals would have anything that could help her or serve her?
It doesn't make sense for the last 2 lines that she just said to him.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. But again, remember how the writers want stuff to happen and they have not the talent to naturally lead there? Yeah. I said though it happens multiple times. Here we go again. There's no real reason that, she isn't given hint. All she says is like there's elven language stuff there. So, she has no clue that this would actually help her in her quest or anything. But she's like, take me there.
It could just be the alphabet. Or like grammar.
Yes!
Just, Elvish books, let me go. And it's just like fiction of like stories and fairy tales and kids, books and Grammar 101. She's like, there's nothing here for me.
And she just so happens to, and we'll get there, because when I say that there was something that breaks like everything, it's the thing she finds there. I'll talk about that, right? But the fact that she finds supposedly the thing that is the key, the clue to her grand quest, is built up on the most fragile, like, bullcrap. This is just convenience, arbitrary, random crap that sheer luck that you are led to, this thing and find, and the fact that they would have the key crucial information that it seems like they have had for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and no one bothered to read it, is such convoluted bullcrap of the highest order. I don't think I've come across something so convoluted in media, like in a story like this. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The amount of contrivances and bullcrap to set that up, and what happens. Yeah, like, we'll get there. I'll save it till we get there. And then, this was so random, I just laughed out loud. Like, what? It's this... They decide to go crazy slow-mo with Galadriel on a horse. And we're talking like some of the most... Man, it goes on for ages. Holy crap, I've jumped back like 30, 40 seconds then.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And there is no reason for it. Usually you do slow-mo for some really important shot, something pivotal that happens in the plot and everything like that. It's Galadriel on a horse riding to random location. And they... Someone says it's a shampoo ad. All right, here it is. Let's give people a taste. It's like horses' hooves. They hold this shot for ages, and there's no reason for it. It's so out of place. I just started laughing. Like, this show is complete dog crap. Oh my goodness. And they hold it for ages. Look at this. It's like...
This is the only time I have seen her smile.
Oh, chat, Amazon branded shampoo.
Yeah, if they played ads during these shows, you have a shampoo ad.
You could totally do it. I can't, like... This show is random. It's like, why? Who thought this was a good idea? It's pretty.
Yeah, no, legit. Someone who liked horses were like, get the 4K slow-mo cameras there, guys. Slow-mo on the horse's butt, on Galadriel's face, Get that smile in. We've been missing it for 3 hours now.
Oh, yeah.
Just to have this emotion that isn't just... Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it cuts to back to what's his face. I forget his name. Finrod, is it?
No, it's you can do the X-ray thing.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I was using when watching it.
It's Halbrand. So Halbrand, he really wants to forge something, guys. Really wants to forge something. I'm like... Wait for just such an incredibly great line. Like encapsulates this show's quality perfectly. Asking to be able to forge, and the guy's like, I like your enthusiasm, but this is it. Until you earned your guild crest, you can't forge steel in Numenor. Then how do you earn your guild crest? If you can't forge steel to learn how to do it. You stupid friggin' moronic writers!
Wow.
Oh.
I didn't say that one originally, but you're right.
Like... Can't sell forged goods, maybe? It's like, no, literally, you just can't even forge steel in Numenor at all unless you get your guild crest.
Yeah, Charles saying the same thing. Sauron needs 5 years of experience for an entry-level job. You gotta have experience to get the job.
Oh my goodness. The quality, the sheer logic, smartness, construction of that line encapsulates Rings of Power. Right there.
Does that mean in a few years' time when all those old men die,
no, how did they get their guild crests?
You're just gonna go out of country, basically. Go to Middle Earth. Oh.
Oh my goodness. And anyway, so artificial conflict here. This is all to try and build up some conflict to show that Halbrand's really a badass because they want to fight later on. And it's so forced. It's like this guy starts talking to him. What will you take next? He's eating our food, and then what will you take next? Our lands, our trades. Hold up there. That's a bit of a leap. A guy just be given a free meal, and they're like, you got to take our lands and our trade. It's like, but they want to force the conflict.
Certain discussion, I think, in the modern politics sense as well. We're going to take our land, take their women.
Oh, he comes back with a doozy. What about if I take your women?
No, it's fine, because he buys everyone drinks.
Yeah, where did he get the money from? And by the way, he holds up a couple of coins, okay?
That pays for...
there's the coins. He's got 2 coins and then just a little cup number there. And it pays for everyone. All these people here. See, everyone's holding drinks. This is implying he just bought everyone a drink. And it's like, dude, you only had a couple of coins. Yeah. And you were on a stranded ship. It didn't look like you had anything on you. Where'd you get the money from? Gosh.
But the mood just changes so quickly.
Yeah.
They're all like, it's okay, how about you drink? Oh, this guy's great.
And this show, because the show doesn't understand subtlety, there's a part where it zooms in really close to the guild crest the guy has on his thing, because you can't forge steel at all if you have a guild crest. And see where Halbrand's hand is and so, wait for it, right? He leaves, and there's no guild crest. It's obvious as anything. And then the guy notices, they come, pick a fight, and he, they punch him, and then he just destroys them all.
Wrecks
them, but they basically stand there for it. And so he's like,
what a frame to pause it.
Oh, that should be in the thumbnail. Damn it. We might have to update it after the stream. That's gold. Oh, my goodness. And then, so he goes, look, 2 friends. This guy just lunged at your friend. They're just like, all right. And headbutts him. takes him down, and instead of trying to get the guy that headbutted, they're like, oh, we'll follow our friend down. What are you doing? And then, yeah, he just like elbows him. They all just like, those guys were standing there and just took it. The guy that he was standing there, like after he got hit, he was just like waiting to get hit, and he pushes in, and then there's like an arm break.
Yeah, breaks his wrist.
And then smashes his head against the thing, and then the town guard just show up conveniently. He was like, that was down quick. They must have been nearby. He heard a ruckus.
Just the whiplash from that scene, though, because it went from them basically verbally attacking him, and then him giving them drinks and being best buds, and then they walk away, and then they fight, and it gets violent and bloody. And like, I paused this to write notes, but I feel like watching this sequentially without pausing would have given me awful whiplash.
Oh, yeah. We're halfway. We're only halfway. All right, we better get going then. Okay, so yeah, all artificial bullcrap. He beats up the 5 guys, and then there's like they're there. She's glad she's in the hall place because it was assembled by Elros himself. It was like, if that's the thing that made you want to go, they're framing it like that's the reason she wanted to go there, but that wasn't described when it was presented to her. No. She just wanted to go there anyway. It's like, all right, so that's, contradiction. They had past kings that loved elves, but then why weren't the elves like allowed into Numenor if they had recent kings that were friendly with them? In fact, you find out it's like there's a king alive who's friendly with elves. All right. Now we get into, this is the thing that breaks the friggin' show. Like the writer's incompetence knows no bounds. It's unbelievable. Okay. She draws the mark of the mark of Sauron, okay? Gives it to a guy. The guy comes back and is like, oh, yeah, we do have something on that mark. It's like, Galadriel, you had literally hundreds of years trying to figure out what, and it might even ebb on thousands, right? You first saw the mark inscribed on your brother's corpse, okay? And you never thought to reach out to some other libraries or places of knowledge. Like, I'm not talking hundreds of years, and this never friggin' crossed her mind.
And she has travelled to every plane.
Yeah, didn't they travel, like...
She searched every corner of this world.
They did say every corner!
This would have included...
You're right! It would have included... Oh my goodness, the crap just continues. And, all right. So she's looking at it, right? And she's like, this is no sigil, because she's looking at it and there's a map nearby. Or she turns it sideways. I was like, hang on. Are you telling me turn sideways? Those two little lines... they kind of look like mountains. Several hundred years! And you've never tried this!
This is some Rise of Skywalker, Rey with dagger.
You're right!
Going.
You are absolutely right.
That's the spot right there, conveniently, right where I'm standing. Luckily, it's the same spot. That's where we need to go.
But it's so much worse because she's had hundreds of years just like staring at this thing, trying to think of anything, and she never bothered to like look at it sideways. Like, those are mountains? And then what's hilarious, she turns it sideways and notices it instantly. Which means... she's like never turned it sideways because it's so obvious when you like. When I look at that, I was like, "Oh, those are mountains."
Yeah.
I mean, I bet the writers thought this was ingenious, clever. Look at this reveal, this hidden mystery. Chat says this is the dumbest part of the show. I think I agree. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But this actually isn't even the worst part, okay? The worst part is that it's described that this comes from a spy that was captured in the evil lands, and he wrote this down. And no one bothered to read it. She says it's in the black tongue. It's a spy. He wrote something down important or got information that was written by an evil guy important, brought it back. Might be important. In actual fact, holy crap, it's really important. It reveals that Sauron has a plan to assemble in the Southlands and no one freaking bothered to read it. You astronomical retarded numbskulls. I can't friggin' stand this stupidity. Holy crap. And they unironically wrote this as an intelligent reveal. And also, by the way, that sigil was on her brother.
Yeah.
Which means this sigil has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay? A very long time. Which also kind of puts a time frame as to when this map and letter might have been written. So they've had it for hundreds of years. You are awful at your job, Galadriel. Astoundingly bad for not noticing this is a friggin' map. Everyone in Numenor are the biggest morons in the world. Like, they literally read an exposition device that explains Sauron's whole plan. His assembling in the Southlands, basically.
They just archive it.
The contrived bullcrap of this is next level. It's unbelievable. And they unironically think this is a clever, amazing, holy... The show, this plot element, like, holy crap. If the show hasn't crapped itself, it has crapped itself before, but now it is just like, we're talking about explosive diarrhea everywhere, crapped itself. This is, like, unforgivably stupid. And it's an out-of-context exposition device because the writers don't know how to move the plot forward with any level of competence.
No.
Like, how do we get Galadriel to about the Southlands? And exposition from a written thing that no one bothered to friggin' read. Like, I have trouble finding a more stupid plot element in any other show. Like... And then she says the Southlands are in grave danger as a result of reading this. This crap is like hundreds of years old. So therefore, the Southlands should be friggin' desolation by now. So I can't express how dumb this is. But seriously, again, think how old that sigil is. It was on, her brother's corpse and everything like that. And the sigil was made to assemble in the Southlands. The sigil literally is a map to the Southlands. And so they've been at this for hundreds of years. And you're telling me only now, after hundreds, if not thousands of years, the orcs are just starting to do stuff and the Southlands are still intact. No, friggin' bullcrap. Do not give me that crap. According to just the time frame that you've established by what's in the show, the Southlands should be friggin' Mount Doom already. Mm. Moving on. And then it like zooms out of the map of Mordor, like is like, oh, aren't we clever? Alright. The hobbits, they are just awful. They're wearing just garbage and they look crap. And so and I think we learned some interesting things about the hobbits here.
Yeah, some very dark and I think I'll have nightmares tonight just about hobbits just like stay on the path.
Leaving people for dead. And in fact, putting people in obvious positions in which they will be banished and die and they're fine with it. Like,
yep.
And so there's heaps of awful dialogue. But anyway, it sets up that they can't carry the cart without you. And already I'm thinking, what, no one would help? Like there's a conversation between the father and the thing. I think it's the wife that says, I can't carry the car. And I'm just thinking, that's dumb. This is supposed to be a close-knit community. Someone would just help. Well, like, what is this coming from? But that's explained later because it turns out the hobbits, and I'm calling them hobbits because they are hobbits, they don't help each other. They just leave. If someone can't keep up, they're left for friggin' dead.
Mind you, they were just chanting before, nobody walks off the trail, nobody walks alone. But they will ditch you, leave you for dead. And they go through. I've listened to the things people have died from. There's one they all laugh at.
Yeah, I know.
They're like, he was an idiot, wasn't he?
You vile psychopath. He died. Wasn't that funny? Oh, he was an idiot. It's like
this was a creepy horror story now.
Yeah.
These hobbits. Ah!
Oh my goodness. Anyway, crappy exposition where it's like, so I think it's the dad says, once that girl puts her head into something, nothing can stop her. Just so you know, we think you're so stupid. We have to spell out everything to you. We've got to make the characterization so blatant that we'll just say it right to you in the most clunky bullcrap dialogue where people say things to other people that they already know and they don't have the, the confidence that they can just show this through character action. Or they just lack the confidence to be able to show it and they have to tell you and then they contradict by the character actions in the show. And so anyway, there's that conversation. It cuts to there's a conversation between Poppy and Norrie, and Norrie says that he murdered fireflies, and then Poppy's like, accidentally murdered. Then I'm like, that's an assumption.
But just the fact that Poppy says, like, he's a giant with a brackish temper who sometimes murders fireflies. Watching this in the moment, I was like, oh, okay, she gets a bit sensitive with death. Later you find out her whole family died.
I missed that, really?
Her whole family
Poppy's
died.
whole fam?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
They all died. And she's upset about murdering fireflies, but her whole family dead. Left on the trail. And she's like, oh, he murders fireflies. Your family's dead. Why are you with these people who clearly murdered their own kind because they're too weak?
So they must be survival of the fittest hobbits.
It is so.
It's like that.
It is messed up. Also, the fact they're having this conversation, I feel like with the context we have now, they should not be worried about the wizard or fireflies or whatever.
Yeah.
You should be concerned about your dad.
Yes.
And what's going to happen. Like, your dad is not in good shape. What you're doing is so irresponsible. And with the guilt she had when her dad originally broke his ankle, you should be, like, panicking.
And it was the wizard that did it, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she says, Norrie says to Poppy, are you going to help me? Or would you rather I slip to Marva? It was you who put firewood in her toe cream. I was like, that's nothing compared to helping an evil, crazy wizard.
And she's blackmailing her friend to help an evil, crazy, or a wizard that might be evil, crazy, and killing everyone. And now, through context, Poppy might have a bit of justification to be a little bit worried that bad things could happen because she lost her whole family.
Yeah. But, like, if you're blackmailing your friend, but they're like, actually, the blackmail I have on you is a lot worse. I'm not going to be worried about that. Like, you should just, Poppy, come out and tell everyone, hey, Norrie's helping a crazy wizard.
I know, but Norrie is vile and evil as well. They're trying to make her out, oh, she's the good one. She friggin' blackmails her friend into helping her do something that is, like, could threaten everyone. Gosh, everyone's awful in this bloody show.
I don't know if you heard these lines, Shad, but it was in the subtitles and I wrote them down. So while they're going to go sneak into the book guy to get the star signs, he's having a little speech with people. You know what he says?
Okay.
The moon is very bright, so be careful when you're having shenanigans later on. It'll be full view of the entire camp, and nobody wants that. I'm only joking, y'all.
Is that the subtitles?
Yeah. So he's saying, don't have any hanky-panky out tonight because the moon's bright and we'll see it. Joking, actually, we all want to watch.
These freaky, perverted,
uncivilized, barbaric, nasty hobbitses. who were just like, yeah, don't have sex out in the open. We're going to see that. Jokes!
Jokes, we do want to see it!
Get the popcorn!
And you don't always say we'll leave you for dead.
Like, how messed up is this? You got tents? Just do your business in there. But they're like, no, don't go out in the green fields and whatever, because it's full moon tonight. I had to pause. I had to be like, this, I feel gross. Yeah. These innocent hobbits are no longer.
It's like what, I don't know. I can't think of an example. I'm sure I've seen a comedy show where someone meets like this group of people that seems all happy, nice and everything, and then he suddenly finds that they're insanely evil.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Toy Story 3 when they go to the daycare center and it's all happy and everything. It turns out it was like a death camp. Oh. It's like this. It's like, the hobbits, we're called half-woods, but they're so nice and everything like that. And we'll kill you and watch you have sex.
The only thing left is for them to be cannibals. They're like icing on the cake is when the dad dies and they go, all right, that's lunch. That's the only thing left for them to do. Like,
oh my goodness.
I have no words.
Yeah, this is amazing. So there was like just, a dialogue exchange which is so stupid. They finally come across a line that is, there's a bit of wordplay here.
Yeah.
But we need to make a way to have the line justified. And so they'll just do the most retarded line to set it up. And so it's this line. It's there's head sense, Poppy, and then there's heart sense. The whole reason why it's so stupid, but the line that made some level of interesting wordplay is Poppy's line where she says, there's common sense and there's nonsense, and if you're all out, you can borrow some of mine. So I was like, hey, that's an interesting line, but they clearly didn't know how to set it up, and they set it up with one of the most retarded lines in this.
Yeah.
There's head sense, Poppy, and then there's heart sense. The most logical reply from Poppy is not that witty line. It's like, what are you talking about? She's stupid. She's like, are you okay? Did you just have a stroke? Right, like head sense and heart sense? What? Oh, yeah.
But yeah, then they
steal
the book and whatever. And then they have this big old ritual where they talk about all the people who they've left. Which I'm just like, this is messed up.
It really is.
You leave people behind. Not only does it make like no sense being nomads just to leave your kind behind, but it's like children, injured, elderly. Yeah. Like we see later, the old elderly people are just like sprinting down the track. Because you better believe when you get a broken back or whatever, you're gone, dead. And then, because I was reading the subtitles to make sure that I got, to see if anyone's related. Yep. There's a part with Poppy, and they're talking, all the names. And then they say, Poppy's family died from one rainy winter day. They all died. And then they all laugh, because this one guy died from bees. And they're like, and then they say, we loved him, but he was an idiot.
And this is the setup, right? They say, if any fall behind, they will be carried with us. And I'm like, so they won't leave people behind. And then it continues in our hearts and minds. It's like, so you will leave them physically. It's like, you'll let them die, but we're remembering you. It's like, yeah, that's a lot of consolation for the people you left for dead, you friggin' psychopath. Holy crap. And then They list like some where people actually died, but one they just got stuck in like the snow and they were left for dead. They actually state that. Oh, holy crap!
It is messed up.
These hobbits are
like who?
I want Sauron to win. Sauron, wipe this world out. You are right. Morgoth was right for this universe. Holy crap!
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah, so I have that as well. Laughing over a guy who died to bees and then calling him an idiot. These people are sick. And then, all right. So the wizard, all right, discount Gandalf, and look, he might be Saruman. It doesn't matter because they're purposely using him as like a Gandalf like Easter egg thing by making him do Gandalf-y like things. So they're trying to profit off of a beloved character, even if they're not naming him, because they don't have the talent to draw people in based on its own quality. Anyway, so he appears. And he's like a moron, and he like is trying to look at this chart. I don't know where he got it. Did Poppy give it to her? Not Poppy, Nori. And then he's looking over fire, and he's a moron too. And he accidentally sets it on fire, and then he just doesn't know how to. His attempts to put it out. It's like, dude, just stamp it like that, like step on it or something. So dumb. And wrap your hand up in the cloth. It doesn't look very fun, but we'll just. So stupid.
Because he's a dumb caveman wizard.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a wizard, this guy.
Fire! All this fire!
And then he stumbles around and falls into the party, pulls his head out of the thing, and everyone's like, who's the big person? And he says Nori, so everyone knows, it's Nori's fault. They all look at her, and then there's a conversation about what will they do. Everyone's like, blah, blah, blah. What was she about to do? And it go like it's stupid or pointless, and then they end with they have a word that's like because you've broken these laws and everything like that, you should be
uncaravaned or something done
decaravaned.
Decaravaned.
Is there a word in just common language that would obviously be used just? You wouldn't replace it with this stupid convoluted thing.
I'm sure if you got a dictionary and read it, you would find a word.
Yeah, it's called exiled. But no, because they like, we're so Tolkien-like, we're gonna make our own words and everything.
Decaravan. Growers. Earth shakers.
Words already exist.
Just use those words.
But anyway, they're like, but we won't exile you. We will just put you at the back of the caravan where you have an injured father and you obviously fall behind. So basically, we won't exile you. We'll just leave you for dead.
Your dad.
We'll leave you for dead and abandon you. We'll basically exile you. But we're so altruistic. We won't exile you, but we. It's retarded.
No, I would have.
And by the way, she does deserve to be exiled. She puts everyone's lives at risk. Everything. She's not innocent in this. I just have like a line. These hobbits suck.
Yeah,
they are.
They ruled them quickly, too.
Really quick.
Like they weren't interesting very much in these previous episodes, but then they just like went downhill dark so fast. Like 0 to 100 faster than like jeez.
So, I forget her name, Millie Molly something. She says, I'm not special, but no, you think you're special. You think you found it for a reason. Don't give me the bull crap. And then it's like, he is special. I can feel it. It's like, what gave you that idea? The fact he fell from the sky? It's like, yeah, maybe he is special. Doesn't mean he's not a threat or evil or could. Yeah. So there's that scene. Utter crap. Okay. Then it cuts to Isildur and Elend, there. And by the way, like, you do know who these two dudes are, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, so Isildur is in Lord of the Rings, you saw him in the flashback.
Yeah.
He's the one who chops off Sauron's hand.
Yeah.
And his dad is the one that gets killed that's him right there. And they basically, they go on and do mighty things. They don't really look like the one. But of course, this isn't a prequel. This isn't Lord of the Rings at all. So this is a confusing conversation where they actually don't give enough context for the scene to make sense, where the dad is annoyed that he's joining the Navy, and it's something to do because Isildur wants to go to the west side of Numenor because reasons, and then they have an argument, and there's just stupidity, like, the watery part of this world has a way of healing even the deepest of wounds. You're not Tolkien, and your attempts at it is so pathetic and contrived. Like, really? The watery part of this world? And so, yeah, it's like fake family drama. And they just had, I don't know, this felt pretty forced. The daughter, she gets a message, she comes back, and she's like, I've been accepted into the Builders Guild. And you know what that means? So she's been accepted to be an architect or engineer. It's like, she's smart.
STEM.
Girl, you got to have the representation of the women in STEM. You know?
And then he's like, oh, I didn't think you got into that.
Yeah.
But you're thinking tonight. Oh, no, my brother told me to apply again.
Genius idea, by the way. Who would have thought to do that? Gosh, we're dealing with smart ones here.
But they just make their dad look stupid and like he doesn't care about his kids. It's sad.
Yep. And then a scene with Halbrand and Galadriel, and so Galadriel just like, oh, she is thirsty for him now. Like, look at that face. She's like, oh,
Man,
like,
watch out. She's gonna like jump at you.
That is a
I can just see in future episodes though when he does something and she goes,
Galadriel canonically is supposed to be married and have a daughter at this time. That daughter marries Elrond. Galadriel is supposed to be one of the older elves. I think she's older than Celebrimbor. You know that really old-looking elf in the other episode?
Yeah.
She's supposed to be, and like, they don't care. They don't give a crap. They wanted, young, empowered girl warrior, and of course can't be married because we need to have a love interest romance with, like, look at this bad guy. Look at Halbrand is such a bad, sexy man. And it's so forced, and they have no chemistry together, right? They really don't. And then this is like such a pathetic misdirect at who he really is, where she's like, I recognize that sigil. It's the sigil of the kings of the Southlands. It's like, don't give me that crap. Oh, man. And by the way, like, the Southlands, canonically, they're not in Mordor. They're, like, on the other side of Middle-earth. And they're actually, I think, a dark-skinned people. They've race-swapped the Southlanders.
What? You had an opportunity for a diverse cast,
but the thing is, remember, they're like, oh, shove off, knife ears. They need to be, like, intolerant people and stuff, and so they need to make sure the intolerant people look like the true intolerant people in the world. I think, that gives me those vibes. Like, anyway, so this is a big misdirect, and it's pathetic, because it's so obvious who this guy is, and then it's like, oh, he's secretly a king. Don't give me that bull crap. Ah, man. And then, not only that. So it's a pathetic misdirect. They're now trying to copy the Aragorn archetype, the reluctant king archetype, right? They are so untalented and incompetent. They can't figure out a story that works, and so they're going to mimic and copy better, more beloved works in any way they can, and they are forcing this in. And they even have it like Halbrand, he has this whole thing like his ancestors that swore a blood oath to Morgoth, and my ancestors swore, and all that. It's like, wow, you're forcing it. And again, like, he was introduced as this nobody, and then is revealed to be a reluctant king. Ah. Wow, you're not half trying to give Aragorn, So we have our discount Legolas, we have our discount Frodo, we have our discount Gandalf. Now it's almost complete. We have our discount Aragorn in Halbrand right here, even though we know this isn't who they're setting him up to be. Oh, gosh.
I just hate how she says, ours is no chance meeting, where before she said, we're companions by chance.
I know. She flipped on that pretty quickly.
I have the notes, people. I've got the documents that say what she said.
Oh. And there are dumb lines. It's like, a prison you're in because you chafe under the rags of the common. It's like, chafe under the rags of the common? Just stop. Just stop trying to sound intelligent, because when you're not intelligent and you try to sound it, you just come off sounding even more stupid. Stop it, okay? It's beyond a joke by now. I'll still laugh at it. Because this is, the dialogue is just repeatedly crap. And anyway, and then, like, Galadriel tries to connect with him by saying it was her family that started a war or something.
Yeah, she started it and he fought in it.
Yeah, his family fought in that war, and my family started. Like, no, Morgoth started it. Even in the context of the show, you see the big bad guy destroying your special trees and everything like that, and you had to go defeat this big enemy because clearly, if it's just left around to do horrible bad things, and so she's trying to say, "Oh, we were wrong to defeat Morgoth, and I need to atone for." Shut up, you stupid cow! Oh. And then, yeah, the whole not fate or destiny. And again, it's another contrived attempt at trying to sound, poetic and noble. It wasn't fate or destiny or any of the words men use to speak of the forces they lack the conviction to name. Ours was the work of something greater. Something greater than, like, the things that men... You speak of forces that they lack the conviction to name, that's usually like gods and things like that, and you're saying something greater when you literally said it wasn't gods. Is like, it wasn't destiny or fate or gods, it was the work of something greater like God, is essentially what she's saying here. Again, their attempt at being, so flowery, everything's like...
Yeah. I think even just the way that she says, ours is no chance meeting, nor fate, nor destiny. It's like, Galadriel, chance and fate? Different definitions. They're kind of opposite in some regards.
Yeah, but if you say it's not a chance meeting, it kind of means it was fated.
Yeah.
And even if God willed it to be, that would kind of make it fate.
Yeah.
And you're saying it wasn't fate. It's like, you stupid idiot. Are you listening to the words coming out of your mouth?
They're the same sentence.
Yeah, Chad is like, it wasn't God, it was God.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the logic of what she's speaking here. Oh my goodness. And then, does she have any other expression?
No.
Like this is 99% of it. She rarely ever breaks just resting female dog face. Oh my goodness. And then, oh wow. So Halbrand gets up, right? And This is just like, it's just something leads into this. I forget what it was. What do you see or something like that? And he gets up, all I see is an elf who won't put down her sword. I'm like, do you have, like, you haven't seen her with a sword once since your meeting, okay? What makes you think that, all right? And like, that is such a specific phrase that Elrond used, right? If Galadriel had any brain, she would hear that. It's like, wait a minute. Why? That's like, you have extra powers of observation you've been like stalking me through some greater magic to drop that specific line, which has no context in the interaction, that you don't even know she uses a sword. And look, she says she's been fighting. What? She wasn't fighting with a bow or daggers or anything like that. And so either this is like such a giveaway as to who this character is, but what it is, it's the writer's thinking, we are connecting the narrative in such a clever, poetic way.
Yeah, because Elrond told her to put up a sword as well.
Exactly, and then so her conflict is just always coming back to her. When this is forced, contrived bullcrap, Halbrand would have... Where is this coming from? Okay, and again, it's coming out of his rear end, coming out of the writers just, forcing the conflict in artificial, unrealistic ways. It's okay. And then Galadriel's like, together we will redeem both our bloodlines. It's like, the context of this, she literally thinks the elves need to be redeemed from defeating Morgoth. And it wasn't really them. I know that, it's not the god, but it's almost a godlike beings came down and they just split Middle Earth again and crap and stuff. But still, there are other things the elves might want to atone for. I'm not sure how involved, Galadriel was, like the kinslayings and other things like that. When, is it the descendants of Feanor try and go crazy to reclaim the Silmarils and stuff? But Galadriel wasn't involved in that. And again, so they're trying to force bullcrap, break the law, and the context of what the show's given. So that's not even appeal to the law. From the context of the show, right, is that Morgoth was this really big evil bad guy, and he was defeated. Thank God he was defeated. Holy crap! But now she's saying we must atone for that. God. Yeah, exactly. And so it just comes off as convoluted crap, right? And look at those eyes. She is so giving those eyes to Feanor. That's the
thirsty eyes.
Oh, yeah. And then so this guy's like, you're still short an army, and she's like, that's about to change. Like, I know you're an indomitable Mary Sue, that everything is just going to go your way. But again, for her to even think, she's like, she knows that. She's no, I can just do anything. Because from the context you're in, like, you're supposed to be the commander of an armies, but guess what? Your command was stripped, okay? The king doesn't want you leading those armies. You have no authority in Numenor at all. And she's so confident, it's like, you think I can't get an army? Just wait. It's like, they know she's a Mary Sue at this point.
Yep.
It's like she knows it.
She's like, everything in my life has worked thus far. What I want, I'll get.
Just by the great powers of the Mary Sue. Oh my goodness. And then, so it zooms in on the tower. And so there's a tower, the queen going, and you don't see the king, but it's clear by like she's going to his bedside.
To him, yeah.
Yep. And then she says, it is here, the moment we feared, the elf has arrived. And again, this just contradicts so much of what was going on before. Like, either you wanted her to come or you didn't. And you had a ban on any elf coming, and so therefore it makes you didn't want her to come. The moment you feared, the elf has arrived, and so that means when she rocks up, you might have wanted to yeet her out of Numenor as soon as possible. No, you are not leaving. If it's you feared, you didn't want to... Contradictory bullcrap. Okay, and then we get everything that they, we worried about the the hobbits, who are the half-foots, which are hobbits, is confirmed in this scene. Yeah. There they are, just plodding along, and then people struggling behind, and they just leave them for dead. See ya.
Poppy's by herself, just pulling a little hand
cart. She doesn't have a family.
Yeah.
It's like, screw, like, no one lets her into their cards or part of their family.
No.
She's not, screw her. Family died. They deserved it. They fell behind.
I just want to find that jolly elderly man who's just like, I'm not dying this season.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's that. And then, the big revelation, the discount Gandalf will push the cart for them. It's like, at this time, look, they're already left. Like, you see this big gap. It's like, they don't care about you. Screw them. Screw all this Hobbit society. Like, look at how far they are. Yeah. Can we bring this full screen just so people can see it? Like, look at this. Do you see how far ahead the other Hobbits are? Like, if they just got bogged and just caught, like, they left for dead.
Yep.
So, yeah, we can take that down. Holy crap. We do need to bring it back up in the little force.
Yes.
Okay, so it gets back to the orcs. And this kind of confirms, like, okay, so the orcs only are digging in daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we only see it.
True, because we have had a night now.
And they are all wearing the same kind of snake skin crocodiles. Like, they must have slain so many friggin' giant snakes to get all that skin covering thing for them. It's like, yeah. And then, so they do the thing. They do the thing. Like, look at this guy. Look at this, right? This is an insane maneuver. This is like, this guy, if they're capable of this, they could break out any time. So watch. He flicks his leg, chain flies around, knocks the guy in the head, and now quickly they're all like, and then he flicks his chain, knocks him down. It's like, holy crap, these chains are weapons. You guys, like, why have you just been standing around doing nothing?
Why didn't you use it when your friend got his
throat
slit?
And so they're all like they pull off the coverings of them and they're like, do you see that?
Yeah.
That was like the sun burning them like they're vampires. It's like so ridiculous. And I'm just thinking, why didn't you try this before? You guys are like really tough. You could broke it out at any time. You just let people die because you waited so long, essentially. He steals a knife. And then, by the way, there was a shot of them all hitting down really, really hard to break these chains. They're like hitting the chains, okay? They find a tool/weapon that is much more effective at breaking the chains. And I was paying attention. I saw where it was just sticking in a thing. Like, he just grabs it out when they're fighting the warg or someone. Yeah. And this thing is like, obviously really useful to break the chains because they break the chains with it. And I was just lying there the whole time. Why didn't you just grab that? So, this is such... They're trying to break it. And again, the thing that they break the chains is just off the side a little bit, sticking in the side of the trench. And so the orcs come, but they don't like the sun. Let me go back. So I got their hoods up, right? And so here, I foreshadowed this at the beginning of the stream, right? We find out the reason why they have this convoluted, stupid trench with the covering. The whole reason why you would have such a dumb setup, which is just like, where would you get all the cloth and everything, right? So the orcs come, they look, and they're trying to pull people in because of the chains. I'll skip forward. Okay, here it is, right? And so... what will they do? They're vulnerable to sunlight. They're pulling him in, and then Discount Legolas, he figures something out. It's like
big brain moment
here. He grabs the axe. He runs forward, and he just jumps off chains because of magical weightless elf bullcrap, and he flies through the air. Do you see what he's aiming for right here? It's like the amount of convoluted crap that they have set up to justify this moment right here, to make him seem, look how clever he is, guys. He's so clever and so smart, and he breaks it open, and now all the orcs are like burning in the sun because, and look, it's like this guy is frying. Look at that, the smoke coming off. It's like, come on. That's it. That's why they have the covering there, all to justify that moment. It's like, you could not have come up with any other creative badass moment that would have been logical that would have justified the scene for the way the orcs are doing it. One, just they would be digging at nighttime, the obvious thing. And you really think you couldn't have found something creative that give them a tactical edge? It's like, no, we have to just break common sense with creatures that hate the sunlight, that they'll only have these guys working in the daytime. When, like, the orcs are stupid because, like, if you kept them locked away at daytime, they're nowhere near a threat. And any attempt at escaping, they would be locked away under cover in some caves or anything like that. So it'd be far easier to keep them under control. And when you have them out in the open working at nighttime, well, guess what? You're not in a vulnerable position, because if they did try and break out at nighttime, the sun doesn't bother you because it's not there. But no, orcs are retarded beyond belief. And I know they're supposed to be stupid, but they're not this stupid. Come on, right? And... just, again, to justify, he's so badass. Look at that. And look at all the cloth, man. Again, where'd they get all of that? God.
There's a lot.
And this stretches like miles by the look of it. Okay, and so... wow.
Then we have the most...
This thing looks so fake. Like, look at this. Look how garbage that looks. The light doesn't make it mirror into the scene. It just... That's dog crap.
It looks like a pug had a baby with something gross. But it looks very puggish.
Yeah.
And it's got big beady eyes. It just looks like it should die from all the diseases it has, really.
Yep. Okay, yeah, so the warg looks fake. And ready? Wait for it. There's a very convenient tool/weapon. Wait for it. Say, look,
there it is.
Look at this thing. This just seemed to be there the whole time, and he just grabs it out. It's like, interesting. Yeah, so...
Also, this wrecks them.
Yeah,
Anyone who's in main cast,
yeah, and
dead.
So it has a chain attached to it still, and if they were setting it free, why are they setting it free with a chain? Because it's the chain that's attached to the warg. That's the very thing that Discount Legolas uses to entrap it. It's like, well,
Right.
good job, you know, orcs. Like, if you're setting it free, wouldn't you just unhinge it at the chain?
Yeah.
But they sent it out with a chain. And so the guy's got the big thing now. Actually, it might not have been that spear. Maybe I was wrong, because now he's looking like he's got a big flipping, you know, orcish poleaxe or something, and that's what he uses to break the chains, I think. But anyway, they seem to have grabbed it, found it pretty easy. And look, there it's getting wrapped up in the chains. The orcs are running out, but they have their hoods up now, so that might...
But that guy's hands were open in the sunlight. The orcs.
Yeah, again, like,
so
you really think...
hands unaffected, but the head is?
Just when the hood comes up, it's complete immunity.
Magic,
All
right,
they need
right.
is a hood. They could be naked. If they have the hood, they're fine. So this is hilarious, right?
Oh.
They a big fight, and he finally gets free. And this just reveals they had no plan. They didn't know what they were doing. Why did they try and break out here if this was the obvious result? Because he gets up there, right? The warg is about to get him. Then Discount Legolas, he throws a thing, gets it good. It's down. He looks back, he's grateful. And then Discount Legolas follows him, and there's orcs everywhere above ground, and is just being nailed by arrows and dead. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what was your plan then? I mean, he literally went up and chopped the tree and got a good view. You didn't see that there were orcs everywhere else and this is a desolate landscape and all that crap. I was like, come on. Oh. So he dies, and then they pull Discount Legolas back down. Wait for it. Yeah, it's like, oh, no.
And now he has no friends because they're all dead.
Yep, that was a great escape attempt. So good, so smart.
We were right back where we started the episode.
We literally are. What have we achieved?
Nothing.
Nothing. You could have cut an entire segment. Like, there has been pointless crap that could be cut in the previous episode. Same here.
Yeah.
They just, like, that's such a sign of incompetence. I again, compare House of the Dragon, where every scene is doing something important with character development, setting the scene, setting up arcs, giving payoffs, all that stuff, right? Everything is, now they're back in square one, more people are dead. You could cut the entire thing. It's just there for, fight and wargs and everything. Like, be a little bit more efficient and competent. Have it do something. And I was going to say learn stuff, but the stuff that they'll learn seems to be bullcrap, where they just assume things. It's like they're looking for something, a weapon. It's like, where did you get that from? Like, you could have at least had an orc say something like, you know, we're looking in the wrong place. Shut up, we'll fight. Or something like anything, you know? But no, they just divine it out of their bullcrap, you know, rear ends. So there, that was a scene. And then this guy, like, he should be dead. He just attempted escape, and killed orcs in the process. The orcs have no reason to keep him alive, but then they're like, no, don't kill him. We need to go take him to the guy. What's the guy? The name of Adar. That's it. That's like, why? This guy is the biggest troublemaker. It's bullcrap plot armor. He has to meet Adar, and again, pathetic misdirect to make us think this guy is Sauron. You see, he's got like Sauron-like hands, and everyone's the orcs are chanting Adar, 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 whatever. And then we kind of get a small shot of his face towards the end. So there are the orcs. They're bowing to him, and it's looks to be a guy. And it's like, bullcrap. This is Sauron. Don't even give me it. Don't even try. Okay, it's such an obvious misdirect, and that's it. Because guess what? Then it ends. Ready? You walking to the screen, and then they cut.
They do this every episode.
That we did it, Nathan. This was tough. That is not
was a very hard one to stay sane in.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We could take that thing down. So, we said at the beginning that Rings of Power Episode 3 was a colossal piece of crap. And now, if you've stuck with us, you get to see the reasons why. And there are a lot of reasons. So many. I can fail to think of, like, anything that was truly good. Okay? Gosh. My goodness. We are live streaming this. It's been heaps of fun, and you wonderful people have sent us some super chats that we are going to get through. And the super chat portion is always fun because it leads into new conversations. Sometimes we bring things up, and so we are going to dive right into it. So I need to scroll back to the beginning of the super chats, which look to be right here. I don't know how to pronounce that. Do you know how to pronounce that?
Excelvisor, yeah.
Sorry. $100! Holy crap! Dude, thank
goodness. Straight out the gate.
It's 3 a.m, but I don't care. I want to hear my favorite internet dudes dump on this show, also because I've missed the last 3 streams. Yeah, dude!
Woo!
That is awesome.
I hope you enjoyed it, because
we got it out as fast as we could. Amazon, they decided to dump the episode 3 hours after they released the other ones. Like, what? I went into this thinking it would be the same time, and it's not there. And then it's 3 hours later, and then I had to say, like, so Nathan, we might need to do a late one. Like,
lucky the stars aligned.
And I appreciate your sacrifice, man, and I appreciate all you guys, because I mean the stream started at an insane hour, but we wanted to get it out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
it took me 3 hours, nearly 4 hours to get through this episode and review it. But we tried to start it as soon as we could and get it done. Okay. Dude, thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. And here's another one I'll probably pronounce. P-Y Piet. I'm sorry. For 25 HKD, please make videos about various US military melee weapons since World War I, plus weapons, gear, armor, etc. in Disney cartoons show Amphibia in the future? There's a cartoon show Amphibia in the future. I think I pronounced it right. If I do, that would be for Shadiversity. So I focus on medieval weapons. I don't really focus on weapons. There are some cool ones, and I'll never rule it out, but it's unlikely, I do have to say. Still very much appreciate the super chat. Dorigard Spot for $5 US. Thanks for taking one for the team, guys. I'm glad you appreciate it. Oh, if you didn't notice, I almost lost my sanity.
There was a part that I was like, do I need to call someone? Chad's blood pressure is just at this constant high.
Oh, my goodness. Look, it's fun to roast it and deserves it. And so we're just going to enjoy, we're going to laugh at the darkness and roast this crap as it rightly deserves. I refuse to add to the show's ratings by hate watching, but I get to see how bad it is through you. Yes, and that is exactly why we are doing it. We hope many people can experience the show vicariously through us, and the show tries to hide their bullcrap by fancy visuals and everything like that. We won't let them, all right? And by joining us on our watch, we will reveal this show for how crap it is, or if it's a good show, we'll reveal it for how good it is. House of Dragon reviews. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. And another one by, it's like, Pete Me?
Oh, yeah.
For 25 HKD. It's the same one. Same answer, but still thank you for the second super chat asking for the same thing. But it's kind of different. Weapons, armor, gear, mounts, etc. shown in animated shows such as Amphibia and how they're compared to real life counterparts. Perhaps, I do like to review ones in shows. So thank you for the request, and I'll have to have a look at this film when it comes out. Fishin 4x4 for $10 US. I think we're all disappointed because we've missed the point of the series. Its goal is far more ambitious than we ever thought. It seeks to make us empathize with Sauron. Burn it all down. So far, I'm on his side. All right? If that's their goal, they have succeeded. So. Bridge Burner Boyo for BNG5. I'm sorry, I don't know the currency. Numenorians were banned to travel to Valinor, not TME, the Middle Earth, I think, or something.
To Middle Earth, yeah.
To Middle Earth. They were traveling non-stop to Middle Earth to explore it and help population there. Hashtag not Tolkien. Yeah, exactly. Like when, I thought it'd just be easy. Hop on a boat. They would go near Middle Earth at some point. Yeah, completely agree. Bridge Burner Boyo for 10 or BNG currency. It is not because the elves that Numenorians were given the island of Numenor. It was because Elros, half-elf, chose to be counted with the human Numenorians. They're basically half-elves, hashtag not Tolkien. Yeah, so, Galadriel saying, we gave you this island. I thought it was bullcrap. It was like, I love Scotch for $2 US. Thank you, sir. Rings of Powers equals Ghostbusters 2016. I think it's worse. I know Ghostbusters is great. What makes this worse is how unironically they are so desperate to try and be incredible, poetic, Tolkien-esque and everything like that. They unironically think this is a masterpiece. I bet the people who made this. And it's that comparison. It's that they thought this crap was so good, and I don't think the dialogue is probably as bad in Ghostbusters 2016 as this. Like they don't know language in this show. There's so many non sequiturs, and they don't follow up. And it's just. Thank you for the super chat though. Caleb Masters for $10 US says, I was wondering if you had any recommendations for resources for an inspiring writer. You guys are great, and thanks for dealing with all this bad writing and other such nonsense for us. Thank you very much, and yes, I do have recommendations. Brandon Sanderson has his lectures course, so he teaches BYU, Brigham Young University course on creative writing, and he posts them online, and I've participated in them multiple times. They're a masterclass, they're brilliant. Many writing essays from Orson Scott Card, he posts them on his website, Hat Track River. They're a great resource. Writing Excuses podcast is a great one. Some of their older stuff I find to be some of the best in writing excuses. All great resources. Do go check them out. Great. Bridge Burner Bio for 5 BNG again. Thank you, sir. Who is this mortal who speaks to me like he has the slightest idea who I am? And there's a bit of symbols. It's the female dog word. Introduce herself with a name and titles and everything. I know. She did actually, didn't she? She's like, I am this, I am that, and I am that. And then you don't know who I am. I told you blatantly, but you don't know who I am. Good pickup, sis. It's just, there's more crap. Yeah. There's more and more crap. For Bridge Burner Boyo, again, thank you, sir. Can someone explain to me why all of the humans in both Middle Earth and Numenor hate elves more than orcs? Is Geralt coming... That's Geralt coming soon. Are we in the Northern Realms? Don't know. Yeah. Bridge Burner Boyo, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it again. Thank you. Sorry, I did read that one. Okay, the Grizzly for $5 US says, hey Shad, been watching your video since the start of your first channel. Awesome, thank you, sir. Glad to miss this train wreck. I'll stick to the Jackson movies and the Lord of the Rings books. Good choice. Nerdrotic, dude. Thank you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I doubt he's still with us, but it was great that he popped in. For $20 US, appreciate it, mate. Says the sea is always right. What a dumb line. I don't want to take all of them. Nathan, I'll let you.
Oh, no.
The Awakening after. Oh, do we need to make it bigger? Yeah, let's
make it big. I'm going to make it blindly big.
Okay.
Just so I can read it to you all. Which one are we up to?
We lost our spot. If you keep going down...
no, I think we went...
No, keep going. There's no right. Yep, so The Awaken we're up to.
So The Awaken for 100 Australian. Dude, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for bearing through this total abomination for us boys. You were doing God's work. Also, who is your favourite character in the show so far? If you even have one.
Sauron?
If I had to pick someone who wasn't Sauron, probably Durin, I think is
maybe
the closest
Durin or
one.
His dad. His dad is the only one that has...
True, his dad actually did say something that was pretty base, but aside from that, I can't stand anyone else.
I know.
And then Leith Ama Corsmo for 40 NOK just did an emoji.
An emoji of a doggy eating a bone or having the present of a bone. Thank you.
There was a thing about dogs before, wasn't there? We're talking about dogs.
Oh, well, Duran says, like, a dog will bark at the moon, but he can't bring it down.
Ugh.
Such a stupid line.
Matthew Styles for $9.99 USD. Love this channel, lol.
Dude, love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really glad you're enjoying it.
Colin Williams for $4.99 USD. Guys, the C word is always right. Is a veiled commentary of Clash of the Sea is always right.
What sea are they talking about?
Galadriel. Ooh. Okay. Bridgeburner Boyo for 2
BGN. I've been seeing BNG. I'm dyslexic. It happens.
If the sea is always right, does that make it racist?
I don't know. It's a mystery. It could mean many things.
Oh,
it's such a dumb philosophy.
Yeah. Anna's Gameland for $8.99 GBP. Ryder and Jono here. Thank you from the lands of Tolkien for doing this so we don't have to. But our queen just died. We need a break. It's too much. I just can't anymore.
I understand, and rest in peace as well. God save the Queen. We're still in the Commonwealth.
Yep.
You know? And I'm proud. I'm glad that we are.
We'll see much longer, but at this rate, I don't know. So Movie Mangler for $2 USD or AUD. Sorry. Check out number 1 on Reddit.
Lord of the Rings memes.
Lord of the Rings memes rising
ground.
Grond.
We'll have to look into that, sir.
Yes. They call me friend for $10 USD. I unfortunately can't stick around. Got to get back to work. Stay vigilant, my friends.
We will, and perfectly understandable. Hope to see you to finish off the streamer.
Yeah, hopefully you're watching this right now.
Yeah, maybe you're back.
Bilbo Teabaggins. I love it. For 5 GBP. I was going to say GPB. I don't know what it is.
I know, you mix them up sometimes.
The orcs are white-skinned. That's no accident. It's all the white is bad narrative. Also, if they aren't following PJ, Lord of the Rings, why is the Balrog
a copy? Yeah, I think there's going to be a Balrog that might be the same Balrog. But we'll see, though. We'll see. And yeah, it's interesting. Like, you know, orcs and goblins, they usually have a different kind of complexion.
Yeah.
I would agree it's not by accident.
No. Do you want to take this next one?
Yeah.
One's for you.
Wolf's Pain for $4.99 US. Hey Shad, did you make a review of The Northman? I think we all need a cleanser because of this cancer. You all may need chemo. Keep up the good work. You're right. And you know what my cleanser will be? I'm hoping House of the Dragons episode 4. Which I'll be enjoying. For me, it comes out Monday morning, Sunday night for the US, and then I get to hang out with Nerdrotic, Gary from Nerdrotic on his channel with Mauler. We get to chat about it. Go subscribe to Nerdrotic if you haven't already, and you get to catch our hangout session. And that happens, and then that night I usually do my review of House of the Dragons as well. So, of course, stick around on Night's Watch to see my review. But Northman, no, I haven't made a review of it, and I want to watch it. I've heard a good report of Northman. I do want to check it out. Anna's Gameland for $1.79 GBP. Where are the horses? F the writing. Where? Well, they like horses in this. They get a good long slow-mo of horses.
Yes.
Juan Wong for $50 Australian. Dude, thank you. My lords, forsake this tale of poor wah. There are fine stories to be found. I beseech thee, will you sound the horn for the defenders of He-Man and She-Ra, Clownfish TV, their book, Crimson Wren, now live on Indiegogo. This tome will not disappoint. Look, Clownfish TV is awesome. I love them, and they do have their new book out. It was Crimson Wren. Go check it out. Do support them if you can. There are independent creators making great things. And so Will Jordan, Critical Drinker, has his own book. There's The Ripperverse doing awesome. There is a novel by Razorfist. Rageaholic has got a book out as well. Go support them all. There's independent ones. Sorry if I missed anyone because Clownfish TV is also doing them. There's my novel as well. If people are interested, I am author, Chronicles of Everfall, Shadow of the Conqueror, and I can't say much to its quality, but I can guarantee you it is 1,000 times better than this crap Rings of Power. This is better, I mean. And I have a graphic novel in the works, a graphic novel adaptation that we are prepping for, which hope to release soon. And so there are independent stuff to check out. Thank you for shouting out Clownfish TV. Skit 3D, hey, how are ya? Good to see you again for $5 USD. If it's a trench, then that makes me think of Tolkien's past in World War One. So they stole a piece of work again from Tolkien. Perhaps, I think the idea of using a trench was just utterly stupid. Because again, why?
Just tunnel.
It was just to set up the stupid thing of the broken thing to give him the power moment. They're not searching for something, they're digging in a straight line. So dumb. Medusa for $2 euro, thank you. Why does this show hate elves so much? It's like, this is the reality. The writers are so oblivious. They think Galadriel legitimately is a great character. They think she's likable, she's a girl boss, she's empowered, and it's like, it shows truly how oblivious they are. They think the only way you can be empowered is if you're an absolute female dog. No, that's not how you do it. Go watch Alita Battle Angel if you want to see an empowered, good, likable character, okay? This is, it feels like they hate Galadriel because they are butchering and making her the most awful character. The thing is, though, it's sadder. It's worse than this. They actually think it's great, she's wonderful, and they love her. This is a reflection of their standards and who they think is a good, competent person.
You know what? I think the elves going to get worse because we haven't seen the emo elves yet.
You're right. Nile for ILS 20. I can't stand watching even 10 minutes from the episode, but I can watch 3 hours of your streams ranting about it. Thank you for saving me the suffering. We are glad you appreciate it because suffering is the right word. This was painful to get through.
And just knowing someone's watching it on the other end gives me some gratification.
We do it for you guys. Muhammad Al-Banai for QAR 500. Thank you for the donation. I started reading the Wheel of Time books because of your reviews. Thank you so much. Lots of love from Qatar. Dude, that is awesome. Thank you very much. Wheel of Time, the books is awesome. The TV show adaptation, it is absolute dog crap. It's an abomination, just like Rings of Power. But yeah, the books are awesome. Glad you're enjoying it. Wade Ricketts for $9.99 US. Well, at least The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings will both be in the public domain by 2050. So if you can build a big enough media company by then, you can do a Lord of the Rings show right. I'd be tempted. Man, I'd actually want to do a Wheel of Time show, but that won't be in public domain for ages. But just
Thanks, Disney.
Lord of the Rings has a great adaptation, Wheel of Time does not. People think Wheel of Time is garbage because the adaptation, the show is so crap. They think the books are crap. It's not. The books are phenomenal. The show's an abomination, a desecration of the source material. And Tibra for €2. Horse scene wasn't slow-mo, it just felt slow. The whole show's a bit like that. Daniel for $2.99 sends us an emoji of a happy doggo. Thank you for that. Skits 3D, thank you again, Skits, for $2 US. Tolkien is barrel rolling. His rolling is definitely what he is not only turning, he is spinning in his grave. As many people have already pointed out, he could power a turbine and power a city with how much he is spinning in his grave over this. Garwin for 3,000 ISK. Thank you very much. I don't know the currency, but still thank you. Just realised the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy was only a budget of combined $281 million for about 10 hours of content, 3 movies. What's the budget for an hour episode here again? Yeah, the Lord of the Rings trilogy was made, I think, per hour of content for cheaper than this atrocity called Rings of Power. Prestige Cars for $1.99. Donate to $1.99. Thank you, sir. Alex Garrett for $44.99 GBP. Hey, Shad, has this show given you and your crew insomnia? Because I'm watching from the UK. Also recently began to watch the previous films in order. I'm up to the first Hobbit film, and in the first minutes, I saw several female dwarves. Yes, there are female dwarves in this. Well, we're in Australia. It is 8:30 at night, so it's not terrible for us. Nathan is working back late. We're doing a late one because we want to get this out for you guys. And I really appreciate Nathan doing overtime for us for this. Because we, Rings of Power is being released at a different time.
Thanks for telling us.
Dutch of Sorisi, 999 US says friend. Thank you, sir. Zen Zoltan for 200 ARS. Shad and Nathan, hail from Argentina. Hail, thank you. Just want to say, can we all agree that as fans of Tolkien, we are baffled of how badly this is written? Yes. This doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings. This feels like Game of Thrones Season 8 Part 2. I think it's even worsely written. It's because games are at least they had dialogue, even if it contradicted payoffs and there was plot holes and there was all crap, right? At least you could look at a lot of sentences that weren't complete incompetent crap. Again, the writers don't even know how language works in this.
You can take one sentence and it will make no sense. And that the point of a sentence is to make sense. It's literally in the word.
No one but guildmasters can work steel in so dumb.
Then how'd you become one?
Thank you, sir. Wolfsbane for $4.99 US. If Galadriel gets a ring of power from Sauron and she has a fling with him, is this a show of love? And if so, why did her husband let her keep it? Well, it's because she doesn't have a husband right now because they're so desperate to have a convoluted, forced love bullcrap thing. David for $2 Euro says, hail, House of Shad. How is Master Oz doing? Oz is doing all right. He's getting there. So thank you. And I appreciate the super chat and your concern. Panoptic Emu for $2 Australian says, where are the, let's just say, orcs of diversity? Good question. Good question. You know, I mean, are there female orcs? I don't know.
No.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna quickly refresh.
Plenty have come through since, I think.
Thank you, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll so they're back up, and we'll quickly go back down. There we are. So Dragon Dracage for $50 US. Dude, thank you very much. Please review 2003 Hulk movie. You always say how I'd like to see a movie with good plot and not as good effects as what Marvel is doing. I think you'll enjoy the change of pace. Probably will. Thing is though, Marvel is now just doing crap plot and crap effects. Yeah, you don't even get either now. For 2 GBP says Prime ratings up. Is that just saying the ratings are up or the ratings are published on something?
Oh, I don't know, because they were down for a bit.
If you actually look at some of the comparisons of there's this other review thing that reviews views on smart TVs through Roku and stuff. Yeah. They are not getting nearly as good views. House of the Dragons had 4 million and Rings of Power over the same period of time only had 1. So I don't think this is going well for Amazon. And no wonder, because the show's friggin' crap. Astounding crap. Gogor for 100 SEK. Think of all the cloth the orcs would need instead of going underground. It goes for miles. Yeah, I know, right? Never knew the orcs were shepherds or cotton farmers or just seamstresses or weaving cloth weavers, right? Oh no, maybe they will make the Arendir. They might make Arendir participate in the labor of producing a material that is used in clothing.
Plausible deniability.
CCAD for $20 Australian. Thank you, mate. I hid Rings of Power on Prime. Thanks for the reviews showing I made the correct decision. You did, sir. Yeah. Council of the Rings for DKK50. Thank you. I know you're not much into the lore, but if you want to know how bad it is, feel free to check out my reviews. There you go, Council of the Rings, people, and I might check it out as well. I'm one of the few who breaks it down. I even have a lore master I'm kind of working with on things. It's just that we're under the pump. It's hard to get things out. But I have a script of all the things they got wrong in the lore of episode 1 that I do want to get out. It'll take time, but we'll get there. But in the meantime, check out Council of the Rings because he's got stuff for you as well. Crazy Tiger Person for $50 US. Thanks, man. I think my modded out Elder Scrolls Skyrim has more story about Thomas the Train attacking the city of Whiterun. I know that. I know that mod. I've seen that mod. And yeah, I would say that's correct. More plot. James Downey for $2 US. They filled the Southlands with right people. And again, like if you look at where the actual Southlands are, it's like it's on the other side of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
You know? Panoptic Emu for just donates $1 Australian. Thank you very much. Sword Collector for $1.99 US. I love your Raid Shadow Legends at Gunpoint video. That's a fun one.
That's a classic.
You did awesome in that one.
That was my one-hit wonder.
Go check it out, guys. It's a fun video if you haven't seen it. And thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Dragon ECT, etc. The first. SE 50, thank you very much. Thanks for get all my thoughts on this show into words. Yes, we appreciate it. So yeah, putting your thoughts into words, we appreciate we can do that for you. You do such a great job. The stones now look upwards. What do you think of the armor? To budget, it's total budget, complete budget armor. Thank you very much for the super chat. Crazy Tiger person for 200 US. Dude, thank you very much. Wow. Way back then in the day, I held on to the hope that I would love to see The Lord of the Rings as a show. But since this dumpster fire has come out, this is in line, I think, of... this is the line, I think, of day in and day out. There is no curse in Elvish, Entish, or tongues of men for this treachery. Yes! Yes, quoting Treebeard. I would agree. That's an apt line.
That is
This
perfect,
is an abomination of a show.
There are times we've just gone... My vocab cannot describe
I nearly broke
how I
my
feel.
brain. But Crazy Tiger person, thank you very much for the very generous super chat. Neil Lindgren for $9 US. Thanks for watching this. I don't have to. You are welcome, sir. I just cancelled my Amazon Prime subscription, so here's the money you helped me save. It's our pleasure. Lovely to see. Lovely to see. All right, and we will update the super chats and bring it back up. We have Panoptic Emu for $2 Australian. Review Zahn, the Star Wars Throne Ascending, please. I think that's a novel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, novels are hard to commit to because they take a lot longer to read, and I barely have any time to even read the novels I want to read. And there's good ones out coming out that I want to get to. So yeah, novels are a bit more of a time commitment I can't handle, unfortunately. But recommendation: Star Wars: The Throne Ascending novel. Astilius for $10 Australian. Having read your book, the only movie I'm actually excited to see is your book's adaptation. That is awesome. Thank you very much. There's been delays on the short film adaptation of my novel. I'm not in charge of the production. It's Radio Productions, and I've spoken with them. They're still moving forward, getting edits done and things, and so they're aware of it, and hopefully it'll be good when it comes out. They're the ones handling it. I was there, helped them film. I do appear in it. And so we will see when it comes out. But, oh, man, thank you so much for enjoying my novel. Means heaps. And I think we're almost up to date, aren't we? I will double check. I'll pop out the chat. Because if we are, what a mighty stream this has been. Oh, man. Oh. Yep, we are up to date. Wow. Rings of Power, Episode 3 is an astounding piece of crap. Could be the worst one yet.
I think it's going to get progressively worse. Each time we're going to have more questions. Because I think each episode, they dig themselves into a hole more and more in terms of plot.
Yep.
And once those emo elves shop, which I just remembered earlier tonight, oh my gosh, I'm terrified.
Alrighty, it's time to sign off. Thank you guys, but never fear, we will always be around. Stay tuned for episode 4.
Yes.
There'll be episode 4 of House of the Dragon, I think, or episode 5. I lose track. Maybe episode 5 of House of the Dragon coming out. at Sunday night or Monday night or something like that. There will also be She-Hulk. Yes, we're going to stick to She-Hulk. People appreciate the last review. And, of course, Rings of Power Episode 4. We're not giving up. This atrocity needs to be called out for the dumpster fire it is, because that is what we do. What do we do here, Nathan?
We always stay on watch. That was such a cool outro, but now we're going to awkwardly sit here while I turn off